Chapter 1469. More and more people gathered here. Everyone was shocked to find out that someone had beaten up a deacon in the Fire Beacon Hall. The group of Fire Beacon Hall guards stared coldly at Qin Feng. A few of them even had a playful look on their faces. Previously, Administrator Wang was very humble towards this person, but now that Administrator Yi was here, he would definitely teach this stinking brat who didn't know his place a lesson. What's going on here? There were too many onlookers, and Deacon Yi's expression was cold. He couldn't show his relationship with Qin Feng in public, lest people talk behind his back. The group of guards became even more confident. Someone stood up and said, "Deacon Yi, that brat dared to cause trouble in the Fire Beacon Hall and beat up Deacon Wang. I hope Deacon Yi can teach that guy a lesson." Deacon Yi was speechless. Last time Qin Feng came to the Fire Beacon Hall, he beat up WNG Lei. Why did he beat up WNG Lei this time? Was WNG Lei asking for a beating? Before Deacon Yi could speak, WNG Lei angrily glared at the guard and said, "Who said young hero Qiao hit me? Which either saw it? This has nothing to do with you. Go do what you need to do." The guard came to help WNG Lei out of kindness, but he was scolded again and again. He was a bit resentful, so he said to Deacon Yi, "You see that Deacon Wang's brain isn't normal today. You should do justice." WNG Lei was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He slapped the guard and said, "You idiot! You dare say there's something wrong with my brain? I think you're the one who doesn't get it." The guard felt so wrong that tears were about to fall. He angrily glared at WNG Lei, but he didn't even dare to let out a fart. Deacon Yi also complained to his heart that these guards were too nosy. WNG Lei had already told them to leave, but they were still standing here looking for trouble. "All right, everyone disperse and do what you need to do. You two come with me. I'll personally take care of this." Deacon Yi said a few bureaucratic words and walked inside. The three of them came to his office. WNG Lei acted like a little brother and quickly poured tea for the two of them. Qin Feng didn't stand on ceremony at all. After entering the office, he sat down on a wooden chair. Deacon Yi's cold expression had long since disappeared. He looked at Qin Feng with a smile. "Young hero Qiao, why didn't you tell me that you were coming to the Fire Beacon Hall? I didn't even see you." Qin Feng knew very well why this old man was being so friendly. He wasn't being friendly to Qin Feng, but to Qin Feng's treasures. "Deacon Yi, I'm here for this matter. Not long ago, I went to the Fire Beast Battalion in Poison Sun City to look for 3 good friends. Unexpectedly, the 3 of them were teleported to 3 different locations by you. Was WNG Lei responsible for this?" WNG Lei, who had just walked over with a cup of tea in his hand, almost spilled the tea on the floor. Deacon Yi had yet to figure out the situation and asked, "Which 3 friends?" "Deacon Yi, they're the 3 women that Gao Yang mistakenly teleported to," WNG Lei quickly said. Ivan came to a sudden realization. He didn't think that these 3 women were Qin Feng's friends. No wonder Qin Feng was so angry today. This really isn't Deacon Wang's fault. At the time, Gao Yang was in charge of the teleportation formation for your 3 friends. Gao Yang had just come to the Fire Beacon Hall to do some work, so he wasn't familiar with the formation, so he made a mistake. Ivan smiled. Qin Feng knew that it wasn't a mistake, but Gao Yang did it on purpose. However, his main purpose this time was to find out if this matter had anything to do with WNG Lei. As for Gao Yang, he had already killed him. "Huh? Deacon Wang, where's that brat Gao Yang? I haven't seen him for a few days." Ivan suddenly frowned. WNG Lei was about to speak, but he saw Qin Feng's cold gaze. He was so scared that he immediately changed his words. "Deacon Yi, that guy ran away by himself. I don't know where he went." Ivan didn't care about a small fry like Gao Yang. If Qin Feng hadn't suddenly mentioned it, he wouldn't have bothered to ask. After finding out that this matter had nothing to do with WNG Lei, Qin Feng didn't stay in the Fire Beacon Hall for long. He directly rushed back to the spiritual immortal sect. Su Ruoro and the other women reunited at the spiritual immortal sect. At this moment, they were playing and fooling around. It was as if they had returned to the carefree life they had in Acropolis City's Hero City. This beautiful life was exchanged for by Qin Feng's hard work in breaking through. Seeing his women grow up safely and happily, Qin Feng was happier than anything else. He thought that after he brought Zhao Ling Xian and his mother back, he could return to China's secular world and live a peaceful life. Qin Feng. Su Ruo saw him and ran overexcitedly. The girls surrounded him like a flock of happy little birds. Happiness was always short-lived. After fooling around with the women for a while, Qin Feng went to the Thousand Shadows sect in Sky Regent City by himself. A few days ago, he had promised Zhao Ling Xian that once he broke through, he would immediately bring her home. The women wanted to go with Qin Feng, but he stopped them. The Thousand Shadows sect's Qin Chen sect leader was very powerful, and there would be a tough battle ahead. Qin Feng piloted the Hummingbird fighter and arrived at the Thousand Shadows sect after a few hours. Just as he reached the sect's entrance, he was stopped by a female disciple guarding the gate. "It's you? Why are you here again? Hurry and inform sect leader Qing Chan that Xiao Feng has come to the Thousand Shadows sect to cause trouble again." The women all recognized Qin Feng. Not long ago, he had single-handedly wreaked havoc in the Thousand Shadows sect and killed the Wind Sun Palace's genius eldest disciple, Feng Xian. This had enraged the Wind Sun Palace, and the Thousand Shadows sect was now in danger. After so many days, when Qin Feng once again stood on this piece of land, his vision and mentality had undergone an earth-shattering change. Looking at the Thousand Shadows sect surrounded by mountains, Qin Feng's heart was ignited with sparks of fire. "I, Xiao Feng, have come to the Thousand Shadows sect to find Zhao Ling Xian. Anyone who stands in my way will die." He stood with his hands behind his back, his words shocking the crowd. The female disciples' expressions became cold. However, they had seen Qin Feng's powerful skills, so none of them dared to attack first. Seeing that the situation had become a stalemate, Qin Feng's patience ran out. Just as he was about to attack, a beautiful figure rushed over and hurriedly yelled, "Prince Xiao, please stop." Qin Feng finally stopped waving his hand in midair. He looked at the woman in front of him and said, "Miss Qin Xiao, it's best if you don't stop me. I'm here to take Ling Xian away, and no one can stop me." Qin Feng advised Qin Xiao to leave because he was acquainted with her, and Qin Xiao wanted Qin Feng to leave. Not long ago, Qin Feng had stepped into the Thousand Shadows sect, but he had been chased away by Qin Chen's sect leader. Only half a month had passed, so no one would think that Qin Feng had made successive breakthroughs. "Prince Xiao, ever since you wreaked havoc in the sect, Qin Chen's sect leader has placed Ling Xian under house arrest and is personally watching over her. Also, you killed the Wind Sun Palace's genius eldest disciple, Feng Xian. Now, the Thousand Shadows sect and Wind Sun Palace are working together to capture you. If you don't leave now, it'll be too late." Qin Xiao had taken the risk of being heavily punished to tell Qin Feng these words. Qin Feng appreciated her intentions, but how could Qin Feng leave so easily this time? "Miss Qin Xiao, say no more. I've already made up my mind, and no one can persuade me to leave. In a while, there will be a huge battle. I advise you to leave this place quickly, or else you'll be accidentally injured." Qin Feng had originally come with two plans. One was to negotiate and reconcile, and the other was to directly fight. After hearing Qin Xiao's words, Qin Feng realized that the first plan was impossible. Even if he didn't find trouble with the Thousand Shadows sect now, they would find him. Seeing that Qin Feng was as stubborn as a bull, Qin Xiao panicked and was at a loss. She wanted to say something more, but she heard a cold, angry roar in midair. "Xiao, you finally appeared. How dare you kill Feng Xian in my sect? I'll make sure you die a horrible death." Rumble. Before that roar could fade away, a huge explosion followed. Qin Feng's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly grabbed Qin Xiao and retreated a few steps. A huge crater appeared where the two of them had been standing. Qin Xiao's expression kept changing. She suddenly felt a chill in her heart. Was Qin Chen's sect leader going to kill her as well? Qin Feng shielded Qin Xiao behind him. His gaze was like a torch as he looked into the sky. A white figure flew over and landed 10 meters away from Qin Feng in a few breaths. It was the sect leader, Qing Chun. However, not long after Qing Chun landed, another white figure rushed over. As soon as she landed, she hurriedly shouted at Qin Feng, "Young hero Qiao, hurry and leave. You won't be able to take Zhao Lingxian away." Qing Chun was so angry that her face was as white as frost. She said in a low voice, "Qing Bai, as the great elder of the Thousand Shadows sect, you've helped outsiders many times. What are your intentions?" Ever since Qin Feng had come, the two women had been at odds. Qing Bai stood expressionlessly at the side. "I have a clear conscience towards the Thousand Shadows sect. I just don't want to see you use someone else's happiness to exchange for the Thousand Shadows sect's temporary stability." Qing Chun was furious and almost roared, "If I didn't do this, the Thousand Shadows sect would have been kicked out of the Five Supremes position in China. When that happens, all the holy sects in China will come and bully us. Do you think Zhao Lingxian's sacrifice is not worth it?" Qing Bai didn't agree with Qing Chen's twisted logic. She looked further. "Do you really think that Lingxian will be fine if she marries into the Wind Sun Palace? The Wind Sun Palace's sect leader is not a kind person. I'm afraid he wants to use this marriage to control the Thousand Shadows sect and swallow our sect." Qing Chun was stunned. She had been too engrossed in the title of being one of the Five Supremes to think that much. However, her expression quickly turned cold. Now that the outcome had been decided, in order to appease the Wind Sun Palace, she had already agreed to marry Zhao Lingxian to another disciple of the Wind Sun Palace. There was no way she could go back on her word. "I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with you. If you dare to interfere in this matter, don't blame me for disregarding our sisterhood." The vital energy around Qing Chen's body suddenly surged. She was ready to fight. Qing Bai hurriedly flew to Qin Feng's side and said indifferently, "Our sisterhood has long since disappeared. Today, I won't let you continue making mistakes." Qing Chen instantly felt as if she had been deserted by everyone. She blamed all of this on Qin Feng. If this brat hadn't appeared out of nowhere, they wouldn't have caused so much trouble. She stared coldly at Qin Feng as if she was looking at a dead man. Today, she had to destroy Qin Feng. Otherwise, there would be no end to this. However, before Qing Chun and Qing Bai could act, Qin Feng's indifferent voice rang out. "Elder Qing Bai, I appreciate your good intentions. However, today, I want to fight Qing Chun alone. You don't have to help. Just order the Thousand Shadows sect disciples not to interfere." Chapter 1470. As soon as Qin Feng finished speaking, the crowd was dumbfounded. Not long ago, he was beaten up by Qing Chun in the Thousand Shadows sect and had to flee. It had only been half a month. Had this guy forgotten? "Young hero Qiao, don't try to show off. Without me, you can't beat her." Qin Bai was speechless. Qin Feng said seriously, "If I can't beat her, you can't either. You should back down." Qin Bai was furious. She thought to herself, "Why are you still acting cool at a time like this? Moreover, Zhao Lingxian is under house arrest in the technique cultivation room. Who are you acting cool for? Don't say any more. Hurry to the technique cultivation room and save Lingxian. I can only help you delay for 15 minutes. If you still haven't found Lingxian by then, leave by yourself." Qin Bai did not think much of Qin Feng. Half a month ago, Qin Feng was only at stage 7 Essential Qi Realm, but he couldn't even withstand one palm strike from her and Qing Chun. As soon as she finished speaking, Qing Bai struck out with her palm. Instantly, a strong wind howled in the air. Qing Chen's expression was cold as she struck out with her palm without backing down. Their palms collided in the air, creating a huge commotion as if a mountain was collapsing and the earth was cracking. The advantage of this palm strike was obvious. Qing Bai was a full stage lower than Qing Chun and was sent flying. However, Qing Chun did not look at her. She leaped above Qin Feng's head and struck out with her palm. It was as if a dark cloud was pressing down. "Die brat!" A massive sound had already exploded above Qin Feng's head. Qing Xiu and Qing Bai watched impatiently. It was as if they could see Qin Feng being smashed into pieces by this palm. However, They saw two beams of purple light suddenly shoot into the sky and explode into a sea of purple flames. Rumble. The explosion of the purple flames was extremely violent. It even swallowed up the sound of Qing Chen's palm strike. Qing Chen's expression changed drastically. She hurriedly retreated, but she was too slow. Her white robe was ignited by the flames, burning her sleeves clean. The two of them had already exchanged blows for the first time, and they both retreated a few steps. Qin Feng stood with his hands behind his back as if nothing had happened. Qing Chen's robe was burned to pieces, revealing her snow-white skin. The crowd gasped. What's with the purple flames? Sect Master Qing Chen is actually injured? Did that guy do it? I feel that Xiao Feng's strength has broken through. His temperament is different from before. He's calm like water, delicate and refined, as if he's about to ascend to immortality. The crowd discussed among themselves, and even Qing Bai was shocked by Qin Feng's current strength. However, the appearance of the two purple flames was too sudden. It was as if they had appeared out of thin air. As a result, no one was sure if it was Qin Feng who had released them. Under the might of the mysterious flame, even Qing Chun felt flustered. She stood more than 20 meters away from Qin Feng and stared at him coldly. However, she did not make a move. Suddenly, Qing Chun said, "Earlier, the astronomical phenomenon changed, and a mysterious flame appeared. Otherwise, you would have died already." "Really? Then you can attack again. I will make your so-called sudden change in weather happen again." Qin Feng's voice was cold. Everyone was astonished. Could it be that Qin Feng really was responsible for the purple flames? Qing Chun was momentarily at a loss. However, as the Thousand Shadows sect leader, how could she be afraid of Qin Feng? What a mystifying fellow. I'd like to see how you're going to change the weather. In the end, Qing Chun still attacked. Her speed was much faster than before. Her voice was still echoing in the air when she arrived above Qin Feng's head. However, before her attack could land, two rays of purple light shot out and were once again ignited by the purple flames in midair. A loud explosion shook the heavens and the earth. Qing Chun had been prepared and managed to escape unscathed this time. However, her heart was in turmoil. It seemed that the mysterious flame had really been released by Qin Feng. However, even she could not understand how Qin Feng had released the mysterious flame. He had not moved at all. Could it have been that it had been shot out from his eyes? Did he think he was the great sage with golden eyes? If Qing Chun could not understand, then the Thousand Shadow sect disciples were even more confused. The girl's eyes widened and their mouths gaped. They all stood there like statues. "Old woman, now you know how powerful I am. I advise you to quickly release Zhao Lingxian, and I can let bygones be bygones." After pressuring her, Qin Feng tried to reconcile. It was not that he was afraid of Qing Chun. After all, the Thousand Shadow sect was his mother's sect, and Qin Feng did not want to become enemies with them. Moreover, Qing Xiu and Qing Bai were also disciples of the Thousand Shadow sect. If they really fought to the point of death, everyone would be in a difficult position. However, Qing Chun did not back down. She had long been blinded by her power and had become a mad woman. "You want to defeat me with a mere mysterious flame? What a joke." Just as she spoke, Qing Chen's figure appeared. She was simply too fast. Even Qin Feng could not pinpoint her exact location. Qin Feng only felt a strong gust of wind behind him. Before he could react, he had already landed on the ground. This palm strike was simply too powerful. Qin Feng felt as if his bones were about to fall apart. He had a rough idea of this old woman's cultivation level. She was definitely above the early stage of Stage 9 Essential Qi. It was very likely that she had entered the middle stage. Whoosh! Seeing Qin Feng fall to the ground, Qing Chun did not hesitate at all. In a breath's time, she flew over and struck out with her palms again. The violent wind from her palms seemed to be able to destroy the ground. Qing Bai and Qing Xiu's hearts were in their throats again. Qin Feng hurriedly sent a palm strike towards the void. This palm strike seemed light and casual, but the moment it landed, the weather around them changed drastically. The sky that was originally scorching hot was plunged into a snowstorm. Wind and snow howled in all directions, giving Qing Chen a fright. Her clothes were already in tatters. Now that she was in the middle of a blizzard, she felt as if she had fallen into an ice cellar. She could not help but shiver. Qing Chen's speed clearly decreased. The strength of the wind from her palms was also neutralized by the blizzard. She looked at Qin Feng, who was standing upright in the blizzard, in disbelief. She realized that this person's strength had increased too quickly. "Old woman, how is my blizzard? Is it very cool?" Qin Feng leaped into the air. Not only was he not affected by the blizzard, but his speed also increased. Qing Chun was infuriated. She hurriedly tried to escape from the blizzard. However, before she could do so, Qin Feng's spear had already landed. Stab, stab, stab. Instantly, thousands of spear lights flashed in the blizzard. It was as if thousands of beams of light pierced through the dark clouds. Qing Chen's expression changed drastically. She could feel the might of these spear lights. They actually brought her a sense of danger. She did not have time to escape. She quickly struck out with her palms. More than 10 palm imprints exploded in the blizzard, causing the blizzard to lose its direction. When the spear lights collided with the palm imprints, they gave off a loud metallic sound. Most of them were blocked. Bang! However, there were still a few spear lights that pierced through the layers of obstructions and hit Qing Chen's abdomen. With a loud sound, Qing Chun fell to the ground like a kite with its string cut. This scene completely shocked everyone present. Sect leader Qing Chun lost? Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Sect leader Qing Chun is a powerful martial artist at the middle stage of Stage 9 Essential Qi. That Xiao Feng is so young. How could he injure the sect leader? The hearts of the women were filled with shock. Even Qing Bai was shocked. However, Qin Feng did not stop at all. He flew towards Qing Chun, who was on the ground, and slashed his saber again. Instantly, there was a loud sound. When the golden saber light, which was hundreds of meters long, sliced through the air, the crowd once again cried out in shock. Rumble! A huge crack appeared in the ground. It was as if a long dragon was lying on the ground. However, Qing Chen's figure disappeared. Qin Feng looked around but could not find her. Young hero Qiao, be careful. She is using the Thousand Shadows sect's ultimate charm technique. Qing Bai suddenly shouted anxiously. Qin Feng frowned. He did not know much about charm techniques, but he knew that the Thousand Shadows sect had brought Zhao Ling Xian back to the Divine Prefecture because of her natural charm. Moreover, the system also sold charm techniques, but they were extremely expensive. From this, it could be seen that the charm technique was not simple. Rumble! Just as Qin Feng was guessing, a loud sound exploded in front of him. However, there was no one in front of him. Instead, he was sent flying by the violent aura. After landing, Qin Feng spat out a mouthful of blood. He did not have time to adjust his breathing. He hurriedly picked up Qin Feng and jumped up. "Old woman, watch my saber." Qin Feng finally found Qing Chun. This woman was standing at the entrance of the Thousand Shadows sect. However, the group of female disciples who had been standing there had disappeared. With a slash of the saber, Qing Chun retreated into the Thousand Shadows sect. Qin Feng hurriedly chased after her. He felt that something was wrong, but he could not understand what was going on. "Young hero Qiao, please stop. There's a cliff in front of you." Qing Bai's urgent shout caused Qin Feng to come to his senses. He looked in front of him again and discovered that there was a bottomless abyss under his feet. If he took half a step forward, he would definitely fall to his death. "Master, you've fallen for that woman's charm technique." Little Pig said, "Actually, the illusion technique is a branch of the charm technique. When the charm technique is cultivated to the great success stage, one can easily cast an illusion and confuse the enemy." Qin Feng felt a lingering fear. He had almost been killed by that old woman, Qing Chun. Only now did he realize how powerful the Thousand Shadows sect was. As expected of one of the divine continent's 5 venerables. How many powerful venerables could resist this charm technique? Qin Feng hurriedly flew to a safe place. He did not dare to attack carelessly. Right now, he could not tell whether the scene in front of him was real or fake. It might even be an illusion set up by Qing Chun. Master, actually, it is not difficult to break the charm technique. As long as Master remains calm and unchanging, it will be fine. At the end of the day, this illusion technique only interferes with Master's brainwaves. It will not hurt Master. If Master truly feels the danger of death, it means that the woman has made a move. At that time, Master can counterattack. After understanding the principles behind the charm technique, Qin Feng calmed down. He held the golden phoenix in his hand and stood motionless. Even though Qin Chen attacked him with her palm a few times, he did not care. This was because Qin Feng did not feel any danger during those attacks. They were all just illusions cast by Qin Chun. Time ticked by, and Qin Chun soon lost his patience. She realized that her charm technique seemed to have been seen through by Qin Feng. Left with no other choice, she suddenly flew over and struck him with her palm. Rumble. A deafening sound rang out. Qin Feng suddenly opened his eyes. This time, he felt an extreme sense of danger approaching. The moment he opened his eyes, two beams of purple fire shot out like two fire dragons soaring into the sky. Chapter 1471. Rumble. Loud explosions rang out incessantly. Purple flames filled the sky, looking as if they were going to burn the entire sky. Qin Chun had not expected this. She did not even have time to dodge before her figure was engulfed by the flames. The female disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect screamed in fear, and a few of them even flew forward to save Qin Chun. Even Qing started to panic. After all, she, Qin Chun, and Qing Ying were sworn sisters. How could she watch Qin Chun die in front of her? Young hero Qiao, please stop. Sect leader Qin Chun is only thinking for the Thousand Shadows sect. She is not a bad person. Qing Bai hurriedly pleaded with Qin Feng. Qin Xiu also rushed forward. Young hero Qiao, please spare the sect leader this time. You have injured her, so you can take junior sister Ling Xian and leave. Now, everyone finally understood where the purple flames had come from. Qin Feng stood with his hands behind his back, his eyes flickering with flames. This scene was beyond logic, and the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect were dumbfounded. There were also a few female disciples who were more knowledgeable and exclaimed, "Half a step into the fairy realm? Young hero Qiao is actually half a step into the fairy realm?" Hearing the words, "half a step into the fairy realm," everyone's expressions changed. That was the most mysterious realm in the Divine Continent, and even sect leader Qing Chun could not see through it. Looking at Qin Feng, who was in his early 20s, they wondered if he had really stepped into such a mysterious realm. Even Qing Bai could not see through Qin Feng. Half a month ago, Qin Feng had been beaten by Qin Chun to the point that he could not even fight back. Half a month later, he stepped into the Thousand Shadow sect again, his eyes shooting out strange flames. His spear and his blade were so domineering that if she had not seen it with her own eyes, she would not have believed it. Swoosh! A strong wind blew, and the purple flames in the sky suddenly disappeared. Qin Feng's eyes returned to normal, and his black eyes were as clear as water. No one would have thought that they could still shoot out such a fierce flame. Qin Chun fell from the sky. Her white clothes burned. However, this woman was not simple either. Her snow-white skin did not change at all, and Qin Feng did not know how she managed to do it. "Xiao Feng, you dare to humiliate me? I'm going to perish together with you." Now that Qin Chun was completely naked, she immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation. She no longer cared about her exposed body. She flew over and sent a palm strike at Qin Feng. Qin Chen's figure was very outstanding. This was especially so when she ran. Her breasts bounced up and down vigorously. Qin Feng could not bear to look at her for too long. He quickly stepped on his golden wheel and left. Bang, bang, bang. For a time, a series of explosions rang out again. Wherever Qin Feng passed, the ground would be filled with holes from the explosions. "Old woman, don't you have any shame? Are you chasing me naked because you wanted to see your body?" Qin Feng was a little angry from being chased, so he deliberately said those words to anger her. There seemed to be a ball of fire burning above Qing Chen's head. The speed of his palms increased. His attacks were extremely ferocious, scaring the Thousand Shadows sect disciples into retreating 100 meters away. Suddenly, a white figure shot over and collided with Qing Chen's palm. Stop being so stubborn. Young hero Qiao spared your life. Do you really want to seek death? Qing Bai used all her strength to block Qing Chun. She even yelled at Qin Feng, who was flying in the air. Young hero Qiao, I'll help you stop Qing Chun. Hurry and take Ling Xian away. Qin Feng did not bother with the old woman anymore. In the blink of an eye, he turned into a golden light and disappeared. The Thousand Shadows sect took up a large area. Apart from the various buildings in the main city, there was also a vast forest and mountainous terrain in the back mountain. However, Qin Feng knew that Zhao Ling Xian was in the main city's cultivation pavilion. As soon as he landed in front of the door, he yelled at her. Ling Xian, are you there? I'm Qin Feng. Qin Feng? Is it really you? I'm inside. Hurry and take me away. Soon, Zhao Ling Xian's choked voice came from inside. After finding out that she was going to be forced to marry into the Wind Sun Palace by Qing Chun, she had been washing her face with tears recently. Qin Feng hurriedly rushed into the room, but he was bounced back by a white light. Zhao Ling Xian seemed to have heard the commotion outside and hurriedly said, That's right, Qin Feng. Qing Chun set up a formation in this cultivation pavilion. Don't force your way in. Qin Feng already knew where the formation was. However, it was obvious that the formation had been set up at the last minute. Although it could stop Zhao Ling Xian, it couldn't stop Qin Feng. Ling Xian, step back. I'll break the formation, Qin Feng yelled. He waited for a moment. After confirming that Zhao Ling Xian was hiding in a safe place, he opened his eyes. 2 purple flames surged out, and a massive explosion sounded out at the door. The simple formation had been destroyed. As soon as the formation was destroyed, Zhao Ling Xian, dressed in white, rushed out. She threw herself into Qin Feng's arms and tightly hugged his waist. It was as if she never wanted to let go. Wu, Qin Feng, I've finally been reunited with you. I've missed you every day for the past 3 months. Zhao Ling Xian sobbed. Qin Feng blamed himself. Ever since Zhao Ling Xian had been taken away, he had madly searched for her. He had even killed his way from the Chinese secular world to the divine continent. Now, he had finally found Zhao Ling Xian. However, 3 months had passed in the blink of an eye. Qin Feng could imagine the torment she had endured in the past 3 months. It's all right, Ling Xian. I won't let anyone take you away again. Qin Feng suddenly hugged her tightly. Zhao Ling Xian felt like she couldn't breathe. At this moment, Qing Chun, who was fighting at the entrance of the Thousand Shadows sect, suddenly stopped. She looked towards the cultivation pavilion and sensed that the formation had been destroyed. This meant that Qin Feng had found Zhao Ling Xian. Qiao brat, if you dare to take Qing Ling Xian away today, I, Qing Chun, will definitely not forgive you. An angry roar reverberated in the air above the Thousand Shadows sect. It clearly came from hundreds of meters away, but it seemed as if it was right next to Qin Feng and Zhao Ling Xian's ears. Zhao Ling Xian was so scared that her face paled. At this moment, Qing Bai yelled, Young hero Qiao, hurry and take Ling Xian away. Don't ever return to the Thousand Shadows sect, and don't fall into the hands of the Wind Sun Palace disciples. As soon as she finished speaking, the sound of a fierce battle rang out. Qin Feng stood at the top of the mountain and looked indifferently towards the entrance of the Thousand Shadows sect. He wasn't afraid of Qing Chen anymore. If it weren't for his mother, Qing Bai, and the others, he would have killed Qing Chun just then. Qin Feng had already left with Zhao Ling Xian. Along the way, Zhao Ling Xian sat on the back of her horse and tightly clung to Qin Feng's chest, unwilling to let go. She had come to the Thousand Shadows sect alone and endured in this unfamiliar place for 3 months. She didn't want to be separated from Qin Feng again. Qin Feng, I want to go home, Zhao Ling Xian muttered. All right, I'll take you to Spirit Immortal City first. Your 8 good sisters are all there. Zhao Ling Xian was stunned. 8 good sisters? Are you not the only one who came to the Divine Great Land? I originally came to find you alone, but Ruo and the others also came. I arranged for them to stay in Spirit Immortal City, and they're all very safe now. Qin Feng gave a simple recount of what happened in the past 3 months. Zhao Ling Xian listened with amazement. Her originally sad and aggrieved emotions immediately disappeared. In the end, Zhao Ling Xian had not suffered much in these 3 months. She had stayed in the Thousand Shadows sect the entire time, and Master Qing had taken good care of her. Compared to what Qin Feng and Ruo and the others had gone through, she suddenly felt that she was already very lucky. After Qin Feng left the Thousand Shadows sect's territory, he found a secluded place and drove the hummingbird fighter to take Ling Xian back. Zhao Ling Xian had stayed in the Divine Great Land for 3 months, so she knew very well what kind of place it was. There were no communication devices, no electronic devices, and most of the means of transportation were horses. However, Qin Feng was driving a fighter, which gave Zhao Ling Xian quite a fright. When night fell, the two of them rushed back to Spirit Immortal City. When the women saw Qin Feng bring Zhao Ling Xian back, they were so moved that their eyes welled up with tears. Qin Feng ordered that there would be a big party in the Spirit Immortal sect tonight. All the disciples of the sect would attend to celebrate his success in bringing back the 9 women. The atmosphere of the banquet was very lively. Qin Feng was surrounded by 9 beauties, and the Spirit Immortal sect disciples were all envious of him. Everyone started a bonfire party in the sect's open space. Everyone danced and drank together, and the atmosphere was as if they were celebrating the new year. Qin Feng was very happy tonight. He didn't think that he would drink and sing with Su Ruo and the other women in the Divine Great Land until late at night. Zhao Ling Xian helped Qin Feng back to his room. Su Ruo and the other 8 women were very reasonable. When they found out that the 2 of them hadn't seen each other for a long time, they especially gave Qin Feng to Zhao Ling Xian. The 2 of them were very passionate, and as soon as they entered the room, they started fighting fiercely. Zhao Ling Xian had more or less learned some charm techniques in the Thousand Shadows sect. Now, she was even more charming and moving. Every frown and smile could steal the hearts and souls of thousands of men. They fought until early in the morning. Zhao Ling Xian lay weakly in Qin Feng's arms. Qin Feng, if you had come a day later, I would have been forced to marry into the Wind Sun Palace. Qin Feng's expression turned cold. That old woman, Qing Chun, forced you to marry into the Wind Sun Palace today. Zhao Ling Xian realized that Qin Feng was angry. She understood Qin Feng very well and was deeply afraid that Qin Feng would go to the Wind Sun Palace to take revenge for her. Forget it. Anyway, I've escaped from the Thousand Shadows sect. I won't bring this up again. However, Qin Feng wouldn't let the Wind Sun Palace off so easily. He had originally planned to accompany the women for a few more days before going to the Wind Sun Palace to take revenge. Now, it seemed that he would have to leave today. However, Qin Feng didn't reveal his plan. He was afraid that Zhao Ling Xian and Su Ruo would worry. The Wind Sun Palace was one of the 5 supreme sects of the Divine Great Land. Its current power and status were much higher than the Thousand Shadows sects, so they wouldn't be easy to deal with. That's right, Ling Xian. Have you found any information about my mother from the Thousand Shadows sect? Qin Feng changed the topic. Back when they were still in the secular world of China, Qin Feng had asked martial artists to help him find out about Qing Ying. Zhao Ling Xian and the other women all knew about this. I only found out later that I joined the Thousand Shadows sect. I immediately asked Master Qing Bai. She's Granny's good sister, but she doesn't want to talk about Granny. Zhao Ling Xian affectionately called Qing Ying Granny and continued. However, I heard that Granny disappeared from the Thousand Shadows sect 2 years ago. It seems that she was taken away by a mysterious person. At the time, the Thousand Shadows sect master was Senior Qing Zun, and Senior Qing Zun's favorite disciple was Granny Qing Ying. Qing Zun abandoned the Thousand Shadows sect to look for Granny on her own. However, there's still no news of her. Chapter 1472. Qin Feng already knew what Zhao Ling Xian knew. He wanted to find some time to go to the Thousand Shadows sect and find Qing Bai to ask about his mother. In China, There were 8 independent cities: Distant Ice City, Meteor City, Sky Region City, Clearwater City, 5 Poison City, Yellow Sand City, Cloud City, and Ocean City. However, Distant Ice City and Meteor City had been merged by Qin Feng to form Spirit Immortal City. After Qin Feng coaxed Zhao Ling Xian to sleep, he rushed to Cloud City alone because the location of the Wind Sun Palace was in Cloud City. Compared to Sky Region City, Cloud City was closer to Spirit Immortal City. It only took Qin Feng 2 hours to land in Cloud City. There were many holy sects on this land, but the Wind Sun Palace was the leader. Because of the Wind Sun Palace's reputation as one of the 5 supremes, the Cloud City was more famous than the other cities. Logically speaking, only disciples of the sect could find the location of the holy sects. Qin Feng had found the Thousand Shadows sect by secretly following Qin Xiu and the others. However, he found out the location of the Wind Sun Palace from Zhao Ling Xian in the morning. Because Zhao Ling Xian was going to be married to the Wind Sun Palace today, he heard the location from Qin Chun. After asking around and searching, Qin Feng finally arrived at a desolate area. Holy sects usually liked to choose remote mountains and forests like this. Firstly, they wouldn't be disturbed. Secondly, these places hid spirit veins and had denser spiritual qi. Qin Feng followed the density of spiritual qi and found the Wind Sun Palace. The sect occupied a vast area, comparable to Qin Feng's Hero City in Acropolis City in China's secular world. The outer walls of the Wind Sun Palace were decorated with lanterns and streamers, as if there was a joyous occasion today. At the entrance of the sect, a few disciples guarding the gate were having a heated discussion. "It's almost time. Senior Brother Feng Hua will be coming out soon. I'm so envious of Senior Brother Feng Hua. I heard that the Thousand Shadows sect's most talented disciple is getting married. Not only is she extremely talented, she's also a fairy-like beauty. Stop dreaming. Senior Brother Feng Hua and Spirit Immortal of the Thousand Shadows sect are a perfect match. We're not good enough for Spirit Immortal." Everyone shook their heads and sighed, but a disciple suddenly laughed and said, "Don't be sad, everyone. Although we can't play with a talented girl like Qing Ling Xian, after she marries into the Wind Sun Palace, the Thousand Shadows sect will have a close relationship with the Thousand Shadows sect." The Thousand Shadows sect is an orthodox sect for female cultivators, and they have countless beautiful disciples. As soon as this person spoke, the dejected crowd immediately perked up. Another person said, "I heard that the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect all cultivate the charm technique. Once they reach the small success stage, it will give the women a unique aura that is very attractive to men. If I can really get a female disciple of the Thousand Shadows sect, then I won't have to worry about my sexual happiness for the rest of my life." At the mention of seduction techniques, the disciples became even more excited. However, halfway through their smiles, they immediately became wary. "Kid, who are you?" It turned out that someone had come, and it was a stranger. Qin Feng stood at the entrance of the Wind Sun Palace, and his gaze swept across the crowd indifferently. He heard every word of their conversation, and to him, these people were already dead. "Is this the Wind Sun Palace?" Qin Feng asked. One of the tall and strong disciples angrily rebuked, "You little brat, don't ask questions that you shouldn't ask. I advise you to leave this place as soon as possible, or else you will attract a calamity." Qin Feng smiled without saying a word. Another disciple coldly said, "This guy is probably a disciple from another sacred sect. He actually discovered the location of our Wind Sun Palace, so we can't let him go. Capture him and wait for the great elder to deal with him." Everyone nodded in agreement with that disciple's words. The tall and strong man who spoke first had already swung his fists, and the instant he punched out, loud sounds could be heard. His fists were so fast that they created afterimages. Seeing that this person had made his move, the other disciples simply stood where they were and looked at Qin Feng with a playful smile, as if that person could capture Qin Feng. Seeing that the wind from the fist was about to graze Qin Feng's body, Qin Feng still stood in the same place, without moving an inch. Just when everyone was astonished, a loud explosion suddenly sounded out. a ball of purple fire suddenly appeared on the ground, causing everyone to immediately retreat several steps in fright. Rumble! Under the loud sound, the disciple who had swung his fist had already been blown to pieces, and he vanished with a gust of wind. The disciples of the Wind Sun Palace were dumbfounded, and no one could recover from their shock for a long time. It seems like this is really the Wind Sun Palace. Very well, I am here to exterminate this sect today. Before the shock from before had subsided, Qin Feng's words once again shocked the crowd. These disciples had been in the Wind Sun Palace for several years, and some had even stayed for more than 10 years. However, they had never encountered anyone who dared to cause trouble for the Wind Sun Palace alone. This was one of the 5 supremes of the Divine Continent. Unless one was tired of living, no one would dare to cause trouble here. Brat, you dare to cause trouble in the Wind Sun Palace? Are you tired of living? Today is the big day of the Wind Sun Palace's genius disciple, Senior Brother Fenghua. I advise you to leave quickly, or else I won't be polite to you. Everyone was shocked by Qin Feng's move, and they lost their confidence. They really didn't dare to let Qin Feng stay any longer, afraid that they would be the next one to explode. When Qin Feng heard the word big day, he was instantly enraged. The moment he opened his eyes, a purple flame exploded into a sea of fire, and the 8 disciples standing at the entrance of the sect were instantly turned into ashes. What's going on over there? Questions came from the sect, and Qin Feng could see dozens of disciples rushing over from afar. However, he acted as if he didn't see these people and swaggered into the Wind Sun Palace. The massacre had just begun. Not good. Someone is causing trouble in the Wind Sun Palace. Quickly take him down. The 3 disciples who arrived first had already realized the danger, and the 3 of them swung their fists at Qin Feng at the same time. However, their figures had only jumped halfway when they were ignited by the purple flame in midair. With a loud bang, the 3 disciples at the 5th stage of Qi cultivation were turned into ashes. The disciples who arrived later were stunned and forgot to continue forward. Qin Feng maintained a pace that was neither fast nor slow as he walked step by step towards the depths of the Wind Sun Palace. Brat, who are you? This is the Wind Sun Palace. You are not allowed to take even half a step forward. Quickly inform the Great Elder. Someone is causing trouble in the sect. There were more than 30 disciples who rushed over, but they stood far away and didn't dare to rashly approach Qin Feng. Some of the more daring disciples shouted some harsh words, but they didn't receive any reply from Qin Feng. Swish! A sudden gust of wind blew, and Qin Feng leaped into the sky. He stood on a pair of golden wheels and wore the domineering golden rock, celestial sovereign armor. His entire body flickered with rays of golden light, as if he was a deity that had descended to the mortal world. The disciples of the Wind Sun Palace looked up at the sky with their mouths wide open. But at this moment, Qin Feng's hands quickly struck out, and each strike brought along a purple flame that fell to the ground. In an instant, the entrance of the Wind Sun Palace was enveloped in a sea of fire. The disciples at the 5th stage of Qi cultivation were instantly blown up, and the disciples at the 6th stage of Qi cultivation had just regained their senses when they were turned into ashes by the purple dusk celestial fire. Even the experts at the 7th stage of Qi cultivation couldn't withstand a single blow, and only a few disciples at the 8th stage of Qi cultivation reacted in time to avoid the sea of fire. But their clothes had all been burned, and they were standing to the side naked. Qin Feng's first move was earth-shattering. He exploded a ball of purple dusk, celestial fire on the ground of the Wind Sun Palace to vent the anger in his heart. Under his furious attack, only 5 of the more than 30 disciples who rushed over were left gasping for breath. The rest of the disciples had already been turned into ashes by the fire. Fengzi, what's going on here? At this moment, another group of disciples rushed over. The man leading the group was wearing a red brocade robe and a tall red hat on his head. He was dressed like a bridegroom in ancient times. When they saw this person, the 5 disciples were startled and ran over as if they had seen their savior. Senior Brother Fenghua, someone came to the Wind Sun Palace to cause trouble. One of them said with a trembling voice. Feng Hua's expression changed, and he looked at Qin Feng in disbelief. He clearly didn't expect that someone would dare to cause trouble at the Wind Sun Palace. This person must be tired of living. Stinking brat, today is my wedding day, and you dare to cause trouble? Feng Hua shouted at Qin Feng. Qin Feng's expression was indifferent, and he looked at Feng Hua as if he was looking at a dead man. Do you know who I am? I'm Qin Ling Xian's man. When he said this, Feng Hua and the others were stunned. Everyone knew that today was Feng Hua's wedding day, and they also knew that he was going to marry the female disciple of the Thousand Shadows sect, Qin Ling Xian. Now, a man suddenly appeared and said that he was Qin Ling Xian's man. This was a blatant slap to Feng Hua's face. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Feng Hua's expression was ferocious, and he had already swung his fist toward Qin Feng. The Wind Sun Palace mainly cultivated fist techniques, and the disciples' fist techniques were extremely exquisite. Feng Hua was Feng Xian's younger brother. Now that Feng Xian was dead, he became the #1 genius disciple of the Wind Sun Palace. As he swung his fists, dozens of fist prints whistled in the void. All the disciples were excited. They seemed to see the scene of senior brother Feng Hua defeating Qin Feng. Suddenly, they heard a loud explosion. Before Feng Hua could get close to Qin Feng, he was suddenly blown up in a purple flame. Boom! The explosion continued, and the disciples were completely shocked. They didn't even see Qin Feng make a move, and senior brother Feng Hua, who was at the 7th stage of true Qi, was already dead. The atmosphere suddenly froze, and no one dared to stand out to provoke Qin Feng. The disciples who came with Feng Hua were even trembling in fear. If they still had strength in their legs, they would definitely turn around and run. I'm Qiao Feng of the Spirit Celestial Sect. Today, I'm here to avenge my beloved wife, Zhao Lingxian. If you don't want to die, leave this place immediately. After Qin Feng killed Feng Hua, he didn't even bother to look at the fire. He looked around arrogantly at the crowd. Everyone was shocked. As disciples of the Wind Sun Palace, they had always been domineering, and it was always them who bullied others. Who would have thought that they would be bullied by others today? Chapter 1473. Nowadays, the name of the Celestial Soul Sect had resounded throughout the land. As disciples of the Wind Sun Palace, everyone had heard of it. However, they did not take the Celestial Soul Sect seriously at all. How could a newly famous sect compare to the Wind Sun Palace that had been famous for a long time? However, when the people from the Celestial Soul Sect really came, these disciples realized how terrifying it was. More than 10 disciples of the Wind Sun Palace stood on the empty ground. They were hesitant, not knowing whether to leave or stay. At this moment, a gust of wind suddenly blew, and several black figures rushed out from the depths of the sect. Who dares to cause trouble in the Wind Sun Palace? You must be tired of living. Today is the joyous day of the Feng Hua disciples. Whoever spoils this joyous occasion will be killed. A few voices came from the sky. There were many people rushing over. While the voices were still echoing in the air, 8 black figures had already landed and stood in a row like 8 towering mountains. Qin Feng scanned the people who came. These people were all above 40 years old. They were obviously the junior and senior elders of the Wind Sun Palace. When they saw the people who came, the eyes of the disciples who were in fear immediately lit up, as if they had seen their savior. Martial Uncle Feng Chao. That brat came to cause trouble in the Wind Sun Palace. He said he wanted to start a massacre. A disciple had already reported the situation. When he said this, the expressions of the 8 elders changed drastically. They looked at Qin Feng as if they were looking at an idiot. This young ant dared to cause trouble in the Wind Sun Palace? Moreover, he had come alone. He really doesn't know his place. Leave this brat to me. You guys go and take care of the Feng Hua disciples' wedding. A middle-aged man in his 40s walked out from the 8 people. His green robe fluttered in the wind. He had the lowest status among the 8 people. He was only a junior elder of the Wind Sun Palace. When they saw this person, the other 7 elders stood to the side. It seemed that he alone was enough to take down Qin Feng. However, before the junior elder could make a move, the disciple hurriedly said, "Elder Feng Yun." Feng, senior brother Fenghua, was killed. Whoosh! In an instant, it was as if a bolt of lightning had struck the 8 elders. Fenghua and Feng Xian weren't just disciples of the Wind Sun Palace. They were also the illegitimate children of the sect master, Taoist Feng. However, only the elders knew about this. As for the disciples, they didn't know about it all. Now that 2 of the sect leaders' illegitimate sons have been killed, the 8 elders were frightened out of their wits. If sect leader Feng were to find out about this, he would definitely fly into a rage. "You ant, I'm going to tear you to pieces." Feng Yun was infuriated and swung his fist at Qin Feng. In an instant, the air was filled with the sound of firecrackers. Feng Yun had only waved his hand, but he had already created hundreds of fist imprints in front of him. They were like sharp arrows shooting towards Qin Feng. However, Qin Feng didn't move an inch. Even Feng Yun's eyes flashed with surprise. At this moment, 2 balls of purple fire surged towards them. When Feng Yun and Feng Yun regained their senses, they were already in the middle of the flames. He heard a loud explosion next to his ear, and in the next moment, he was blown to pieces. Rumble. The sounds of explosions rang out one after another, and it would be difficult for them to stop in a short while. The group of disciples once again witnessed the power of the purple fire. They were so frightened that they couldn't stand still. The other 7 elders were also dumbfounded. They didn't even understand where the purple fire came from. Yet a young elder at the early stage of true Qi level 9 had fallen, just like that. The reality before their eyes was hard to accept. Even in the divine continent, a place of cultivation rich with spiritual energy, there were very few revered martial artists who could step into level 9 true Qi. Any one of them could dominate an area, but now they had become cannon fodder. "You dare kill an elder of my sect? Hand over your life." Even though they had witnessed Qin Feng's power, by the time they regained their senses, another 2 minor elders attacked at the same time. These 2 were also level 9 true Qi. Their first attack was a killing move. In an instant, hundreds of ferocious fist imprints appeared in the air. Qin Feng still stood in the same place. In the blink of an eye, 2 balls of purple fire shot out. It was as if 2 long dragons were whizzing out. In an instant, the fist imprints in front of him were burned to ashes. Rumble. The sound of an explosion shook the heavens. This time, the 2 minor elders were prepared. When they saw the purple fire appear again, they hurriedly retreated without a second thought. However, Qin Feng was also prepared. He waved his hand, and a dazzling golden long blade appeared in his originally empty palm. The instant the blade landed, the 2 elders who were fleeing in midair were instantly blasted into pieces of flesh and blood that scattered everywhere. The atmosphere turned cold again and again. At this moment, it had reached the freezing point. How long had it been? Yet, 3 level 9 revered martial artists had fallen. Under normal circumstances, the entire divine continent wouldn't lose more than 3 level 9 revered martial artists in a year. The remaining 5 elders finally came to their senses. Their eyes were spitting fire, but there was a hint of fear hidden within. "Who are you? Why did you come to our Wind Sun Palace to cause trouble?" The white-haired elder spoke. He was the great elder, Feng Chao, who had the highest position among the remaining 5. Qin Feng faced the group of revered martial artists, but he looked down at them with disdain. His voice was indifferent. "I am Qiao Feng, a disciple of the Celestial Souls sect. Today, I came to destroy the Wind Sun Palace." Knowing that Qin Feng was from the Celestial Soul City, the expressions of the 5 elders changed. But very quickly, Feng Chao came to his senses and suddenly threw a punch. "Arrogant brat, let this old man teach you a lesson." Rumble. Before the elder finished speaking, the sound of the punch had already exploded on Qin Feng's body. This old man was too fast. 1 second, he was still more than 10 meters away from Qin Feng, but the next moment, he landed on Qin Feng's chest. The force of the punch was even more ferocious. It directly sent Qin Feng flying dozens of meters away. The moment he landed, a human-shaped pit appeared on the ground. Feng Chao's punch landed, but he did not pursue. On the other hand, the other two elders flew over like two nimble swallows. Just as the two of them arrived above Qin Feng's head, they swung their fists at the same time. A wave of fist prints fell rapidly and densely like a rain of sharp arrows. It was as if they were going to destroy the world. Rumble. The loud sound seemed to have come a little too early. Qin Feng threw a few palm strikes in midair. Immediately, the weather changed drastically. A violent snowstorm suddenly swept up, engulfing the two elders. The snowstorm was so huge that it even blocked the two's vision. Their fist prints had long been blocked by the snowstorm. The temperature plummeted, causing the two to shiver from the cold. Even the speed at which they swung their fists slowed down. Careful, retreat quickly. Feng Chao's anxious shout came from afar. The old man had already seen the hidden danger in the snowstorm. However, he had only shouted halfway when a red spear light appeared in the snowstorm. Suddenly, the two of them were pierced through by thousands of arrows. Rumble. Amidst the sound of the explosion, the two of them turned into flesh and blood that scattered on the ground. This time, even Great Elder Feng Chao was dumbfounded. The two elders had the strength of stage 9 true Qi realm. How could they be killed at the same time? Qin Feng landed on the ground and panted heavily. After continuously activating the purple cloud, immortal fire, and suffocating, he was somewhat unable to bear it. As for the two elders at the middle stage of the 9th level of true Qi, it could be said that they were lucky to be killed. Firstly, the two of them had underestimated Qin Feng. Secondly, Qin Feng's suffocation came suddenly and strangely, catching them off guard. The crowd of Wind Sun Palace disciples was so frightened that they did not dare to breathe. Even the other two elders were panicking. The two of them were also in the stage 9 true Qi realm. If they really made a move, wouldn't they also be killed by Qin Feng? All of you stand down. Let me deal with this guy. In the end, Great Elder Feng Chao stood up. Qin Feng looked at the old man with a serious expression. Among everyone present, he was the most worried about this person. You do have some ability. Unfortunately, in my hands, only death awaits you. Feng Chao's old eyes were cold. Qin Feng could not see through this person's realm, but he knew that it had definitely surpassed the stage 9 true Qi realm. The aura on his body was even more majestic than Qin Chen's, giving people the feeling that they were looking up at a mountain. Since Qin Feng had stepped into the Wind Sun Palace, he came with the mentality of a bloody battle. He did not waste words with Feng Chao and took the initiative to strike with his saber. Rumble. The golden saber light that was hundreds of meters long fell to the ground, blasting a deep crack in the ground. The disciples were so scared that they covered their heads and scurried away. Some of them did not manage to escape in time and directly exploded in the saber light. Feng Chao leaped lightly and dodged the surging saber light. His casual leap turned into a sharp arrow that shot out. Just as Qin Feng's saber was about to land, a palm strike landed and sent him flying. This seemingly light palm strike was like a speeding train crashing into Qin Feng. Qin Feng was like a kite with a broken string, swaying in the air. Before he landed, Feng Chao's figure appeared and punched the air again. Rumble. First, there was a loud explosion. Then, hundreds of fist imprints shot out from Feng Chao's old fist. Each of the fist imprints was filled with violent, true Qi. If all of them landed on Qin Feng's body, he would definitely be blown up in an instant. Arrow. Qin Feng roared. A long arrow shot out from the sky. It was like a divine arrow falling from the sky. Qin Feng was already holding a purple battle bow in his hand. Once the cloud-piercing arrow was in his hand, he fired it. Rumble. The arrow seemed to pierce through the entire sky. The hundreds of fist prints were pierced by the cloud-piercing arrow like tofu. Finally, it pierced through Feng Chao's right arm. The arrowhead of the cloud-piercing arrow carried purple flames. The flames roasted Feng Chao's wound, and a pungent smell of blood and burnt flesh wafted out. Stinking brat, I want you to die a horrible death. Feng Chao had forgotten how long it had been since he was injured and how long it had been since he saw his own blood. He was completely enraged. Like a mad lion, he punched out. Qin Feng's figure instantly froze in the air. After taking a breath, he fell to the ground like a meteor. Rumble. There was a huge sound when he landed. It was like a plane crashing. Feng Chao did not give him any chance to breathe. He followed like a shadow. Your arrow flew away. Let's see what other trump cards you have. Just as the fist prints were about to hit the ground, he heard Qin Feng roar. Arrow come. Amidst the whistling wind, a long arrow shot out from the sky. Feng Chao was stunned. He looked at the divine arrow that returned to Qin Feng's hand in disbelief. However, just as he was stunned, Qin Feng drew his bow and shot the arrow. It was like a meteor streaking across the sky. Chapter 1474. Rumble. The moment the cloud-piercing arrow left his hand, it surged forward with a momentum that could break the sky. Feng Chao's expression changed, and his old eyes flashed with fear. He was too late to dodge. The cloud-piercing arrow was too fast, and it pierced through his abdomen. Feng Chao was sent flying 100 meters away. Qin Feng was also heavily injured, and he was sitting on the ground, trying to stabilize his chaotic qi. The disciples' eyes fell to the ground. Even the great elder was no match for this person. This person looked to be in his early 20s. When did such a strong person appear in the divine continent? Feng Chao was fierce enough to not die after being pierced through the abdomen by the cloud-piercing arrow. He could even sit on the ground and yell, "That kid is only at the early stage of Qi Stage 9. He just has a lot of treasures on him. I've already injured him. You guys go kill him." Feng Chao was still heavily injured, and he ordered the other two elders to attack. The two of them resisted in their hearts, but they did not dare to disobey Feng Chao's orders. A gust of wind blew, and the two of them were already walking on the wind. One of them jumped into the air, and the other punched the ground. Suddenly, the area in front of Su Yin was covered in fist prints. "You're looking for death." Qin Feng could not care about the chaotic qi in his body. When he opened his eyes, two balls of purple fire exploded in the air. The elder in the air was so scared that he immediately retreated, but the elder on the ground took the opportunity to punch Qin Feng. Rumble. Qin Feng swayed in the air again, and the elder immediately chased after him. Just as he was about to punch Qin Feng's head, he saw a ray of light flash by, and before he could react, his chest was pierced by a cloud-piercing arrow. Rumble. The elder's body stopped in the air for a second and then exploded like fireworks. Qin Feng had already fallen to the ground. He spat out a few mouthfuls of blood, but he still forced his body to stand up. Two balls of purple fire appeared in his eyes, as if he was a demon that walked out of hell. "Arrow!" Qin Feng roared. The other elder realized the danger and hurriedly jumped on the empty ground. Qin Feng held the skyhawk bow and pulled the cloud-piercing arrow. The moment he let go, a gust of wind blew, and the cloud-piercing arrow shot through the elder's head like a shooting star. Rumble. Loud noises rose and fell. The entrance of the Wind Sun Palace was littered with corpses, and the majority of those lying on the ground were experts at the 9th level of true qi. As for the disciples with even lower strength, they were directly burnt to ashes by the purple dusk immortal fire. Someone suddenly fell to the ground, unable to withstand the pressure brought by Qin Feng. There were also a few disciples from the Wind Sun Palace who started to run for their lives. However, before they could get far, they were blown up by Feng Chao's fist wind. Feng Chao stood up again. The bloody hole in his abdomen had actually healed by more than half. However, there was still a fist-sized hole. It was a hair-raising sight. Feng Chao didn't care about his injuries and suddenly punched at Qin Feng. This punch contained all the true qi in his body, and the weather changed. The fist imprints were as dense as dark clouds, and they shot towards Qin Feng at lightning speed. Arrows. Qin Feng didn't have time to think and hurriedly shot an arrow. This time, the piercing cloud arrow didn't completely pierce through the black cloud. Qin Feng immediately brandished his spear again. Suddenly, thousands of spear lights shot out. Many spear lights pierced through the black cloud and landed on Feng Chao's body. However, the black cloud didn't dissipate. In the end, it landed on Qin Feng's chest. Rumble. The loud noises caused by the two of them didn't stop. Feng Chao's abdomen was pierced by the spear lights. The previously healed wound split open again. Qin Feng wasn't much better. When he was attacked by the black cloud, he almost vomited out all of his internal organs. The two of them fell to the ground and didn't get up for a long time. This was the best time to kill Qin Feng. He didn't even have the strength to stand up. However, none of the disciples from the Wind Sun Palace dared to take half a step forward. Feng Chao was infuriated by their cowardice, but at this moment, he couldn't even say a word. Qin Feng also couldn't continue fighting. However, he forced himself to shout, "Old man, today is the anniversary of your death." Feng Chao sneered, "You alone can't kill me." Rumble. Just as he finished speaking, he suddenly stared at the sky with his eyes wide open. A huge body fell from the sky. It was unknown what kind of monster it was. The moment it landed, the ground shook, and it sent Feng Chao flying into the air. Roar! The giant winged fire demon roared and slapped out with its palm, breaking Feng Chao's waist. However, before those disciples could react, the fire demon suddenly disappeared as if it had never appeared. Where is he? Is he not here? After a long time, someone finally came to his senses. He discovered that other than a mess of blood and flesh, Qin Feng and the huge beast that had just appeared were nowhere to be seen. Everyone came to their senses one after another. Someone suddenly cried out, "Oh no, Senior Brother Fenghua and the 8 elders were killed by Qiao Feng. Quickly, report to the sect leader." Today was a joyous day for the Wind Sun Palace. No one would have thought that a joyous event would turn into a funeral. When they thought back to the battle earlier, they still felt a lingering fear. The shock that Qin Feng brought to everyone was too intense. At this moment, the severely injured Qin Feng had already gone to the Immortal Island. He was sitting under the fire demon tree to heal his injuries. This time, he stepped into the Wind Sun Palace and killed the 8 elders in one fell swoop. It could be considered as him venting the anger in his heart. However, he did not continue fighting because the sect leader of the Wind Sun Palace had yet to appear. Qin Feng felt that he was currently not Taoist Feng's match. In the Wind Sun Palace, a group of disciples stood cautiously at the entrance with their heads lowered. In front of them stood a white-haired elder. It was the sect leader of the Wind Sun Palace, Taoist Feng. Taoist Feng stood with his hands behind his back. He was not angry, but he exuded an imposing aura. His white robe fluttered even though there was no wind. His surging true energy made it difficult for everyone to breathe. Looking at the corpses and flesh on the ground, Taoist Feng gritted his teeth in anger. He even suspected that his eyes were playing tricks on him. Who in the divine continent would dare to cause trouble for the Wind Sun Palace? And he had killed 8 elders in a row. Who did this? Taoist Feng roared angrily. The crowd was so frightened that they almost knelt down. A bold disciple said with a trembling voice, "Sect leader, it was done by an ordinary disciple of the divine immortal sect. That person's name is Qiao Feng." Qiao Feng's name was now somewhat famous in the divine continent. However, with Taoist Feng's status, he clearly did not care about those rumors. This was the first time he heard Qiao Feng's name. A hint of surprise flashed across his face. However, it was not because of Qiao Feng, but because of his title as an ordinary disciple. An ordinary disciple of the divine immortal sect killed 8 of our sect's elders? Are you idiots or retarded? Taoist Feng was so angry that he wanted to kill someone. He did not believe that Qin Feng was an ordinary disciple. As sect leader, I'm afraid that Brat is really an ordinary disciple of the divine immortal sect. He looks to be in his early 20s, the bold disciple continued. This time, Taoist Feng was completely stunned. A youth in his early 20s had single-handedly killed his way into the Wind Sun Palace and killed 8 elders in one fell swoop. Among them was Elder Feng Chao, who was in the late stage of true energy stage 9. Even if he heard it with his own ears, Taoist Feng still could not believe it. But he knew that this was the truth, because how could these disciples before him dare to lie to him? For a moment, Daoist Feng's mind was in a mess. He was thinking about the spiritual immortal sect. Was this newly established sect in the divine Great Land really that powerful? After a long time, Taoist Feng suddenly roared, "This matter is not to be spread. Those who disobey will be killed without mercy." The disciples hurriedly nodded their heads. Who would dare to go against the sect leader's wishes? Now that the 8 elders and a group of genius disciples of the Fengsun Palace had been killed, their strength was far from what it used to be, and they were almost unable to meet the requirements of the 5 venerables of the divine prefecture. If this matter were spread, the consequences would be unimaginable. After giving the order, Taoist Feng suddenly said, "Now that the power of the Wind Sun Palace has weakened, the marriage alliance with the Thousand Shadows sect must be carried out. Where is Fenghua? Tell him to go to the Thousand Shadows sect and bring that female disciple over." Taoist Feng had already scanned the corpses on the ground, but he did not find Fenghua. This made him feel somewhat relieved. A disciple said, "Sect leader, Brother Feng, Brother Fenghua was killed." Taoist Feng's expression froze, and he roared, "What? Who killed him?" It's that ordinary disciple of the Celestial Souls sect called Xiao Feng." Taoist Feng was so furious that he almost fainted. He gritted his teeth and looked in the direction of the Celestial Souls city, remembering Xiao Feng's name firmly in his heart. "Xiao Feng, I will definitely make you pay with your blood." After Taoist Feng secretly swore the blood oath, he glared at the group of disciples and roared, "What are you waiting for? The marriage alliance of the Thousand Shadows sect must be completed. Find a random disciple to marry." The disciples were stunned, but they immediately got to work after regaining their senses. They were actually quite happy. Rumor had it that the Thousand Shadows sect's clear spirit immortal was a genius beauty, and whoever could marry her would be blessed by 8 lifetimes. There were not many disciples left in the Fengsun Palace. Half of them went to the Thousand Shadows sect to marry Zhao Lingxian, while the other half stayed in the sect to clean up the battlefield. Taoist Feng did not directly go to the Celestial Souls sect to take revenge. Since Xiao Feng had the ability to kill the 8 elders, it meant that there was a powerful martial artist in the Celestial Souls sect. The Fengsun Palace was now relying on Taoist Feng alone to support it. If he died, the Fengsun Palace would cease to exist. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. Qinfen had been recuperating on the Immortal Island for the past few days. His external injuries had healed, but he still had some internal injuries that needed some time to fully recover. Qinfen left the Immortal Island and returned to the Immortal Spirit City. Now that he had found Su Ruoro, the 8 women, and Zhao Lingxian, the burden in his heart was finally lifted. However, he still remembered the matter of finding his mother. However, he did not plan to go to the Thousand Shadows sect to ask Qing by right now. He was still injured, and if that crazy woman Qing Chun ran into him and fought him to the death, Qinfen was not confident that he could defeat her. When the women saw Qinfen return, they all relaxed. Qinfen planned to stay in the Immortal Spirit City for a few more days to recuperate and accompany these women. He also checked the system quests. There were still 3 quests that he had not completed. They were build a technology city in the Divine Land, change Hua Xiaojin's 3 obediences and 4 virtues, and subdue the 10 great savage beasts. Qinfen carefully studied these 3 quests. Change Hua Xiaojin's thought and subdue the 10 great savage beasts could not be completed in a short time. While he was in the Immortal Spirit City, he could try to complete the quest to build a technology city. Chapter 1475. Qin Feng did as he said. These days, he locked himself in his room to build a science museum. He didn't bring any products from the outside world to China. If he had known that China was like the ancient times, he would have brought a whole train of technological products. Little Pig, why are the system's technological products so expensive? Qin Feng could only buy high-tech products from a system. However, he only had 149,000 hedonist points left, and every point he spent made his heart ache. Little Pig laid on the system's lottery machine and said with an annoying expression, Master, are you stupid? Why do you have to buy product from the Star Technology interface? The people of China are all idiots. Master could just buy some Chinese products. Qin Feng wanted to retort, but found that he had nothing to say. He secretly opened his inventory. There were all sorts of things in the Hedonist sovereign system's inventory, and the technological products were all in their own large inventory. Qin Feng quickly looked through the technological products, and his eyes turned into crescent moons. Indeed, they were much cheaper. A third wheel for only 1 hedonist point? Give me 100 light bulbs. Fridges for 100 hedonist points? And there's Siemens double-door, cellular breathing refrigerators? They're worth tens of thousands. Give me 5. Televisions are cheap too. Give me 10. Damn, a box of 12 condoms for 1 hedonist point? 100 boxes. Wait, why do I buy these things? How do they get into the interface of the technological products? Qin Feng suddenly went from the Star Technology interface to the ordinary technological products interface. It was as if he went from a luxury store to a high-end imitation store. The price dropped by tens of times. He was like a Chinese and he's shopping in a gold shop. He bought a large number of technological products in one go, from a third wheel to a car, plane, and even a ship. At this moment, the door was pushed open, and Su Ruo and the other 9 women walked in hand. As soon as they entered the room, the women were dumbfounded. Wow, are my eyes playing tricks on me? Have I returned to the Chinese secular world? Qin Feng, where did you get so many technological products from the outside world? Huh, there's even an electric bathtub. I could take a bath tonight. Qin Feng, what are you doing? The women couldn't understand what Qin Feng was thinking. They couldn't understand where he got so many technological products from the outside world. Qin Feng had just finished buying and was done with it. Now he had to start organizing these technological products and perfecting the construction of the tech city. He looked back at his remaining hedonist points and was shocked. This house of technology had cost him 49,000 hedonist points, and now he only had 100,000 left. Ah, Qin Feng, where did you get so many condoms? I thought you didn't wear condoms. Su Ruo rummaged through a pile of condom boxes and blushed. Qin Feng felt awkward and pretended not to hear Su Ruo's words. He hurriedly organized the girls and said, "Beauties, help me organize these products and put them all together. I want to hold a large-scale technology exhibition in Immortal Spirit City and make our Immortal Spirit City and Immortal Spirit sect famous." The girls immediately became spirited. They couldn't find any fun in the divine Great Land. Today, they finally had something to do. Qin Feng called all the disciples of the spiritual immortal sect over. This time, more than 100 people were busy building the Science and Technology Museum. In just 2 days, a huge Science and Technology Museum had been built. On the 3rd day, the Science and Technology Museum officially opened. Actually, when Qin Feng showed off his prowess in Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum, he made Immortal Spirit City's Science and Technology Museum famous. At that time, he said that Immortal Spirit City would hold an even larger technology exhibition in the future. Now that the news was out, it instantly attracted a large number of Holy Gate disciples. Holy shit, so this is the legendary Immortal Spirit City. It feels very different from the other cities. Immortal Spirit's sect has been very famous in the divine Great Land recently. They're rumored to be the most mysterious sect. I've seen an ordinary disciple of Immortal Spirit's sect, Xiao Feng. That person is young, but very skilled. This Immortal Spirit's sect is definitely not simple. We shouldn't cause trouble so easily. This is the Science and Technology Museum. This exhibition is too big. It's almost 5 times bigger than Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum. Early in the morning, many Holy Gate disciples gathered in the Science and Technology Museum. Qin Feng had already arranged for the Immortal Spirits sect disciples to receive and protect them. As for Su Ruo and the other 9 women, they wore sexy cheongsams and specialized in selling technological products. Once the Holy Gate disciples entered the Science and Technology Museum, they were dazzled. Not only did the dazzling array of technological products make people yearn for them, but the beauty and sexiness of Su Ruo and the other 9 women also made people restless. However, when they remembered that this was immortal spirits' sex territory, they immediately stopped peeking at the 9 beauties. Seeing that the museum was already full of people, Qin Feng walked up the round stage unhurriedly. He had a microphone clipped to his collar. When he spoke, his voice resonated throughout the museum. Dear Holy Gate friends, today is the first technology exhibition held by my immortal spirit sect. All the items in this exhibition are clearly priced and fair. Because this is the first time we're holding a technology exhibition, in order to give the majority of the users some benefits, we've come up with many special promotions. For example, if you buy 10 items, you'll get 1 technological product. If you buy 20, you'll get 2. There's no limit. On behalf of the Immortal Spirits Sex disciples, I can assure everyone that the technological products produced by our Immortal Spirit sect are definitely the cheapest on the internet. No, we're the cheapest in the entire China. The exhibition will last for 3 days. Everyone, hurry up and purchase. If you miss this opportunity, you'll have to wait another year. Qin Feng brought the promotional methods and some pleasantries of the outside world to the entire China, making Su Ruo and the other 9 women tremble. However, this method was very effective. The Holy Gate disciples below the stage couldn't wait any longer before the exhibition began. Let's cut to the chase. Today's exhibition officially begins. If you're interested in any technological products, you can find our beautiful sales attendants to purchase them. Let me remind everyone that the 9 beautiful sales attendants are all my people. If anyone dares to mess around, I won't be polite. Qin Feng's words dispelled everyone's crooked thoughts. The group of male disciples glared at him with envy and jealousy. The crowd suddenly went crazy. It was as if they were rushing to buy tax-free products from overseas. Heroine, what's that? You don't recognize this? That's a television. A male disciple ran over to Zhang Cuckoo and was looked down upon by her. The man felt a little pressured, but he braced himself and continued to ask, Television? What's it for? Zhang Cuckoo grew impatient. She pouted and yelled, Are you an idiot? Of course it's for watching television. The man was infuriated, but he didn't dare to vent his anger. He stared at the 58-inch LCD television for a long time, but he couldn't figure out what it was. Qin Feng walked over with a smile and pulled Zhang Cuckoo into his arms. He knocked her head and said, Girl, do you know how to introduce products? You should learn. Qin Feng looked at the Holy Gate disciple and said, Hero, this is a 58-inch invincible LCD super awesome television. Zhang Cuckoo burst into laughter as soon as he opened his mouth. The disciple's eyes lit up and he asked anxiously, It's that amazing? What's its effect? Qin Feng unhurriedly turned on the television and played a martial arts film. Do you see this? The martial arts secret manuals that have been lost for a long time are recorded in this television. If you want to buy it, hurry up. There are only 10 of them. If you're late, the secret manuals will be taken away by others. The disciple suddenly went crazy. He took out all the cultivation resources he had and bought the 58-inch invincible LCD super awesome television. He carried it in his arms and left happily. Zhang Cuckoo was dumbfounded. Qin Feng patted her head again and said, Silly girl, do you know how to promote the sale now? Zhang Cuckoo was instantly energized. She waved her hands and shouted, I know, big brother Qin Feng. Cuckoo is the best at tricking people. Ahem. How can you say that? We're helping you. Qin Feng rolled his eyes at her. Zhang Cuckoo ignored Qin Feng and ran to the Siemens double-door refrigerator. A disciple was looking at the refrigerator curiously. Hey, stop looking at it. There are only 5 invincible LCD super awesome refrigerators in the universe. Hurry up and buy it. Zhang Cuckoo's words stunned the disciple. Invincible LCD super awesome refrigerators? What's this thing for? Zhang Cuckoo's eyes turned into crescents when she smiled. I'll tell you, but don't tell anyone else. There's a 100-year ice crystal inside the refrigerator. It can release an unlimited amount of ice spiritual energy. Are you an ice elemental cultivator? The disciple was amazed by Zhang Cuckoo's words. He nodded subconsciously and said, Yes, I'm an unpopular disciple, and I cultivate an ice elemental cultivation method. Zhang Kuku was even more pleased with herself. She smiled and said, "That's right. Hurry up and buy this thing. You can sit in it and cultivate every day. I guarantee that your cultivation base will skyrocket." The disciple was a little doubtful. "Can I try it on the spot?" Zhang Kuku could tell that the disciple was a troublesome person. She said patiently, "All right, go into the refrigerator now, and I'll connect the electricity for you." Zhang Kuku plugged in the refrigerator. Qin Feng had bought 20 generators, and they were enough to maintain the power supply of the entire Science and Technology Museum. After the refrigerator was plugged in, the disciple could feel the cold air rushing toward him. His eyes lit up as he thought, "This is a treasure. With this thing, I don't have to go to Arctic City to cultivate and achieve a breakthrough anymore." "Heroine, I want this thing." The disciple crawled out of the refrigerator. He looked as if he was afraid that someone would snatch it from him. Zhang Kuku clapped her hands excitedly. This was the first deal that she had made. "All right, I'll sell it to you. Just give me 10,000 high-grade spirit stones." The disciple's mouth twitched. He pointed at the price tag on the refrigerator and said, "Heroine, the price tag is 1,000 high-grade spirit stones." Zhang Kuku was displeased. "That's the starting price. Do you know how many spirit stones this refrigerator can fetch in an auction? It's fine if you don't want it." The disciple became anxious. He rummaged through his storage pouch for a long time and finally took out more than 3,000 spirit stones of different quality. "Heroine, look, this is all I have." Zhang Kuku quickly pushed all the spirit stones to him and said with a smile, "All right, I'll sell it to you." The unpopular disciple was overjoyed. He hugged the refrigerator and ran away as if he was afraid that Zhang Kuku would regret her decision. Halfway through his run, he suddenly turned around and asked, "Oh yeah, what's this thing called again?" Zhang Kuku was stunned. She rolled her eyes for a long time, but could not recall the name. "Who cares? You can call it whatever you want." Chapter 1476. With Zhang Kuku around, there were at least 80 people who had fallen for her tricks that day. However, the disciples didn't feel like they were cheated at all. They even thanked Zhang Kuku after paying. The first day of the exhibition went very smoothly. Most of the items in the museum were sold in one go. At night, Qin Feng endured the pain and bought some technological products from the system to replenish the inventory. He had to complete the mission of building the technology city. Suddenly, the technology city of the spiritual immortal sect and Xiaofeng's name became famous in the divine land. The disciples of various sects talked about these two topics. "Bro, did you go to the technology museum of the spiritual immortal sect today? What treasures did you buy?" The people walking on the streets of Fire Beacon City were also talking about these things. "Sigh, I didn't receive any news beforehand, but I'm going to rush there tonight. I hope I can get to the spiritual immortal sect tomorrow and buy some satisfactory products." The Technology Museum of the Spiritual Immortal Sect? What's that? Isn't Fire Beacon City the only place with a technology museum in the Divine Land? Why did you guys go all the way to Spiritual Immortal City? Some disciples didn't know. The others looked at that person in disdain and said, "Your news is too outdated. Forget it. I can't be bothered to explain to you. I don't want you to steal my treasures." People were discussing on the streets and alleys. It was hard for the staff of the Technology Museum to not hear them. Lei Shan stomped his feet in anger. "Dad, it must be that brat Xiao Feng's doing. He's purposely going against us." The Technology Museum of Fire Beacon City was deserted. There wasn't even a customer in sight. Lei Wanzhong stood at the entrance of the Technology Museum and looked in the direction of Spiritual Immortal City. Lei Wanzhong had been holding a grudge against Qin Feng ever since the plane fight. Lei Wanzhong was looking for a chance to kill Xiao Feng. He didn't expect Xiao Feng to suddenly do something like this. "Dad, say something. If this goes on, our Science and Technology Museum will close down." Lei Shan scurried around like a monkey in a panic. Lei Wanzhong said coldly, "Stop arguing. We'll go to Spiritual Immortal City tonight. I want to see who else in the Divine Land can get more technological products than me." The technology exhibition of the Spiritual Immortal Sect opened on time the next day. However, Qin Feng did not come today. After witnessing Zhang Ku's performance yesterday, he felt that he was no longer needed here. Qin Feng wasn't idle either. At this moment, he was recuperating on the Immortal Island. Over the past few days, his injuries had mostly healed. Qin Feng looked at the region shrouded in immortal mist in the distance, and his heart started to itch again. "Master, you want to go on an adventure again?" Little Pig asked. Qin Feng was more or less hesitant. The last time he risked his life, he was almost killed by a snow wolf and a blood-fiend brown bear. However, he also obtained an inner foundation pill, which allowed him to break through to the early stage of True Qi Level 9. This place was indeed a treasure land where risks and opportunities coexisted. If Master wants to go, then go. If you encounter any danger, you can directly teleport back to the spiritual immortal sect, said Little Pig. Qin Feng had almost forgotten about this. Now, he had no more worries. If he really encountered a powerful beast or an immortal, he could just run away. After adjusting his emotions, Qin Feng once again set off on his adventure. The giant winged fire demon and the other 3 vicious beasts followed him. Qin Feng discovered that the immortal mist in the area he stepped in last time had dissipated. However, he didn't go to those 2 areas again. Instead, he slowly explored the new area covered by the immortal mist. With his current realm, he was the #1 supreme being in the secular world of Huaxia. Even in the Divine Land, he was well known. However, now that he was walking on the Immortal Island, Qin Feng was extremely careful with every step he took. He was deeply afraid that a huge beast or immortal realm expert would suddenly jump out and slap him to death. Along the way, the 4 vicious beasts led the way. This time, the new area Qin Feng explored was like a canyon. The road under his feet was rugged, and the ground was filled with crushed stones. However, these stones all contained spiritual energy, comparable to the low-grade spirit stones in the Divine Land. Along the way, Qin Feng's heart was filled with shock. The stones on the ground were simply innumerable. He thought that if the people of the Divine Land found this place, they would definitely be scared to death. Qin Feng only walked on the crushed stones in this canyon, but he felt the same effect as if he was training hard in a sacred sect in the Divine Land. After walking for an unknown amount of time, the rugged road under his feet finally became a little flatter. It seemed that he had arrived at a valley plain. Qin Feng heard the sound of flowing water. He walked towards the source of the sound and found the scenery of a waterfall. Flowers and plants were lush all around, attracting bees and butterflies. Mist lingered around the waterfall, as if it was an immortal realm. Suddenly, Little Pig's excited voice sounded. "Master, you've struck it rich. The flowers and plants on the ground are all rarely seen in the outside world. Although they aren't as powerful as the fruit of embryonic vitality, there are a lot of them. If Master eats all these flowers and plants, your strength will skyrocket." Qin Feng was stunned and looked at the flowers and plants all over the ground. These flowers and plants had strange shapes, and their stems and leaves emitted dense spiritual energy. As expected, they were species rarely seen in the outside world. Qin Feng ran over excitedly. Halfway there, he heard the 4 ferocious beasts suddenly roar. Moreover, they charged ahead of him and dashed towards the immortal mist. Roar, roar. Qin Feng could no longer see the figures of the 4 vicious beasts, but he could hear their panicked roars coming from the immortal mist. Soon, there was the sound of fighting. "Mere beast race dares to behave atrociously in front of me? Get lost." Just as Qin Feng was rushing over, his body suddenly froze. He actually heard a human voice. He realized that the enemy this time was not the beast race, but the immortal realm experts of the Immortal Island. "Master, there are natives of the Immortal Island ahead. The 4 vicious beasts want you to leave quickly." Little Pig's anxious voice sounded. Qin Feng was a little nervous. He had only stepped into the early stage of Stage 9 Vital Qi, and according to the system's introduction, this immortal island was full of true immortals who had stepped into the immortal Qi realm. How would he deal with them? After a short moment of hesitation, Qin Feng immediately flew towards the immortal mist. How could he abandon the four vicious beasts and escape alone? Rumble. As soon as Qin Feng stepped into the immortal mist, he slashed down with his sword. As he entered, the immortal mist automatically dissipated, and a golden sword ray several hundred meters long fell from the sky. On the other side of the grass stood a young man in a white robe. The man's aura was very unique. It was clear and pure, as if a heavenly immortal had fallen into the mortal world. The long sword was about to fall to the ground, but the man did not retreat at all. He nimbly raised his hand and stretched out his index and middle fingers, catching the sword ray several hundred meters long falling from the sky between them. With a casual shake of his fingers, the sword ray disappeared. The four vicious beasts stopped roaring, stunned by this scene. Qin Feng also stood rooted to the ground, feeling like he was dreaming. The man had already seen Qin Feng. With a light leap, he landed in front of him, but did not attack. "You want to kill me?" Qin Feng pretended to be calm and said, "You bullied my war pet, so I will deal with you." The man was about the same age as Qin Feng. "Your war pet attacked me first, otherwise I would not have attacked." Qin Feng was stunned. He suddenly realized an important situation. The powerful young man in front of him seemed to be afraid of him. Otherwise, he would not speak so much nonsense. "Master, this is a mortal island. Other than you, only immortal venerables who have stepped into the immortal Qi realm can step into this place." Little Pig suddenly reminded. Qin Feng immediately understood. The young man in front of him clearly thought he was a native of a mortal island. And the young man was definitely the lowest level of cannon fodder on this immortal island. Seeing Qin Feng appear with four vicious beasts, it would be strange if he was not afraid. After understanding the situation, Qin Feng hurriedly retracted the true qi in his body. Right now, he was like an ordinary person who had never cultivated. He said with an arrogant attitude, "Humph. Look at your young age. You are just an ant who has stepped into the immortal qi realm. How dare you talk back to me?" Qin Feng was not confident. He wanted to try his luck. If he guessed wrong and caused the other to notice and attack, he would immediately teleport to Immortal Soul's sect with the four war pets. The young man's legs were faintly trembling, and his voice was much weaker. "Immortal Venerables, please don't be angry. I did not mean to provoke you. I did not see Immortal Venerables before, so I did not know these four vicious beasts were your war pets." Qin Feng realized he guessed correctly. The young man had already started to admit defeat. This was not because the young man was stupid and easily tricked. It was because the lowest level on Immortal Island was Immortal Qi Realm, and this young man was the lowest level of cannon fodder. Now that he had suddenly encountered Qin Feng, it would be strange if he did not admit defeat. Qin Feng let out a long sigh. He did not think that he could bluff people like this. He continued to scold. "Just a few words of apology, and it is over? Aren't you looking down on this immortal's face too much?" The young man's body trembled even more. He hurriedly said, "Immortal Venerables are powerful people. You will definitely not be interested in my treasures. I found a spiritual pool in front. I can bring Immortal Venerables there." Qin Feng was pleasantly surprised, but he pretended to be cold. "Hurry up and lead the way. If you dare to lie to me, I will make your head roll." Under the man's lead, Qin Feng came to the source of the waterfall. The scenery nearby was even more enchanting. The ground was filled with spirit grass and spirit plants. Not far away, there was a medium-sized pool of water. When Qin Feng was still a few dozen meters away from the spirit pool, he could already feel the surging spirit energy coming from that direction. The man was a little nervous. This spirit pool looked like a spring with slightly denser spirit energy on the immortal island. He was afraid that Qin Feng would look down on this place and destroy him if he was not satisfied. "Immortal Venerables, do you think this place is okay?" the man asked carefully. Qin Feng was overjoyed. This place was not only okay, it was simply amazing. However, he was a powerful celestial Venerables now. He always maintained a calm demeanor. "Scoff. It's just a spring. At most, I could take a bath. What's the big deal?" After Qin Feng said this, he almost couldn't pretend anymore. This was the most dishonest thing he had ever said. The disciple was not surprised. He hurriedly said, "Celestial venerables, I am just an ant that has just stepped into the first stage of celestial chi. I can only find these things. The better cultivation resources are taken by other celestial venerables. I don't dare to step into those areas." Qin Feng didn't expect to meet someone on a mortal island. He didn't know much about a mortal island and wanted to ask the man about the situation. However, if he did that, his celestial venerable's identity would be exposed. He might even be killed. Chapter 1477. After some careful consideration, Qin Feng decided not to ask about the situation on the immortal island first, lest he gave himself away and lost his life here. Moreover, in front of him was a spirit pond with rich spiritual energy, surrounded by rare spirit grasses and spirit plants in the divine Great Land. His main task now was to break through to the next realm. Seeing that the youth was still standing there, not daring to move, Qin Feng yelled with a cold expression, "What are you still standing there for? Do you want to peek at me bathing? Do you believe that I can turn you into ashes with a single slap?" The corner of the man's mouth twitched. "Why would I watch you bathe?" However, he didn't dare to show his resentment. He said with relief, "Thank you, Celestial Venerable, for not killing me. I will take my leave first. Celestial Venerable, take your time to enjoy your bath." Qin Feng stood with his hands behind his back, looking like an immortal. After the man left for a while, Qin Feng let out a long sigh and patted his chest, feeling a lingering fear. That was an immortal chi realm immortal reverent. Because of the appearance of that man, Qin Feng realized that there were other people on this immortal island, and it seemed that there were quite a few of them. Qin Feng was afraid of encountering more natives, so he immediately took off his clothes and jumped into the spirit pool. Rumble. Instantly, waves of majestic spiritual chi surged over and entered his body on its own. He sat cross-legged in the spirit pool, feeling extremely comfortable. Before this, Qin Feng had come across a spirit pool in Devil Beast Mountain in the secular world of Huaxia, but that spirit pool's density was 10 times lower than this. Qin Feng had already activated the heaven and earth yin-yang harmony balance to absorb the spiritual energy around him. Not long ago, he had eaten an inner foundation pill and broken through to the early stage of true Qi 9th stage. Originally, the true Qi in his dantian was somewhat empty, but after soaking in the spirit pool for a while, his body was about to explode from the spiritual energy. While he was cultivating, the 4 ferocious beasts didn't stay idle either. They gathered the spirit herbs and spirit plants in the surroundings and brought them to the side of the spirit pool. From time to time, Qin Feng would grab a handful and eat them like candy. Time ticked by, and Qin Feng's body continued to make loud noises. Every earth-shattering noise represented a breakthrough. Unknowingly, Qin Feng had already stepped into the later stage of true Qi Stage 9. It was the 3rd day that the Science and Technology Museum of the Spiritual Immortal Sect had opened. Yesterday's exhibition was still as lively as ever. More than half of the technological products in the museum had been purchased. However, the women couldn't find Qin Feng, so they couldn't make up for the technological products in the museum. Even so, there were still many Holy Gate disciples who came to participate in the exhibition. Why aren't there enough technological products today? Don't tell me you're out of stock. Sigh, I'm still too late. I wanted to buy a moving ice crystal chosen by a disciple of the Zhuolong sect, but I didn't see it. I haven't seen young Hero Qiao for the past 2 days. Did he go to stock up? Where on earth did he get the channels to sell these outside products? There were many people, and the atmosphere of the Science and Technology exhibition was still lively. Su Ruo and the other women looked at the few technological products in the museum, which were not easy to sell. However, Zhang Kiki was not worried at all. She was jumping between the products. "Heroin, is this vat also a technological product?" a disciple asked. Zhang Kuka looked at him disdainfully and said, "You are really ignorant. This is not an ordinary water tank. This is the super vibrating Maria jumping jet tank." The disciple was stunned. After a long while, he asked, "W, what do you think this is called?" Jean Cuckoo could not recall it at the moment. She said indifferently, "The name isn't important. The most important thing is its function." The disciple stared at the bathtub. He could not figure out what other important functions this thing could have. Jean Cuckoo continued, "There's a flow of vital energy in this jet tank. If you buy it and take a bath in it every night, the vital energy will automatically flow through your body to speed up your cultivation. Moreover, there's a vibration massage function to strengthen your acupoints and Ming Men." One had to admit that Jean Cuckoo's ability to fool people was second to Qin Feng. The disciple was dumbfounded. A yearning expression appeared on his face. "Can I give it a try?" Jean Cuckoo was instantly displeased. "You bastard! Are you trying to take off your clothes and take a bath in front of me? Are you here to cause trouble?" The disciple was shocked. He had long heard of the reputation of the Celestial Souls sect. How would he dare to cause trouble here? "Heroine, please don't be angry. I'll buy it from you, all right?" 5 minutes later, Jean Cuckoo kept the 2,000 spirit stones and ran off to find a new target to fool with a smile on her face. As she busied herself, the remaining products that were hard to sell were sold one by one. Su Ruo and the other 7 ladies were filled with admiration for her. More and more people gathered in the museum. Everyone had heard that today was the last day of the Science and Technology exhibition in Celestial Soul City. Logically speaking, there should be a final product. Is the final product not going to be released? The Science and Technology Museum is almost sold out. Let's wait a little longer. Young hero Qiao has yet to appear. I believe he will surprise everyone. The crowd was getting anxious. At this moment, 2 groups of people rushed into the Science and Technology Museum. When the people in the museum saw them, their expressions changed drastically. "Holy shit! Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Are they the Wind Sun Palace and the Thousand Shadows sect of the 5 Supremes of the Divine Continent? They're not just here. The sect masters of the 2 sects are here personally. Even Sect Master Feng and Sect Master Qingshan are interested in the high-tech products from the outside world. I've never seen them visit the Science and Technology Museum in Fire Beacon City before. I think they're here to cause trouble for the Celestial Souls sect. Have you guys heard? Recently, there's a rumor that the Celestial Soul sect is going to replace the Thousand Shadows sect as one of the 5 Supremes." Someone asked in confusion, "Then why is the Wind Sun Palace here?" That person lowered his voice and said, "Don't you know? A few days ago, the Wind Sun Palace got married to a genius female disciple of the Thousand Shadows sect. Now, the 2 sects have a close relationship." Everyone gossiped, but they did it in whispers. They were afraid that if these words reached the ears of Qing Chen and Taoist Feng, they would lose their lives instantly. The 2 sect masters each brought a team of 20 disciples. In total, there were about 50 people. This was not a small force. "Who are you? Are you here to participate in the Science and Technology exhibition?" A few people from the Qiao clan were standing guard at the entrance. They had been imprisoned by the Spirit Beast sect for the past 20 years in the Divine Continent. They did not even know Qing Shun and Taoist Feng. Seeing that they did not come with good intentions, the people from the Qiao clan stopped them and questioned them. Taoist Feng's expression turned cold, but he did not attack immediately. Qing Chun scolded coldly. "Open your dog eyes and look carefully. I'm the sect master of the Thousand Shadows sect, Qing Chun. This is the sect master of the Wind Sun Palace, Taoist Feng." The people from the Qiao clan were shocked when they heard their names. Even if they had never seen them before, they had heard of their names. The Science and Technology Museum was in an uproar. Many disciples had only heard of their names, but had never seen them in person. Now that they knew that the man and woman standing outside were the sect masters of 2 of the Divine Continent's 5 Supremes, they felt like they were dreaming. "So it's the 2 seniors. Seniors, you're also here to participate in the Science and Technology exhibition, right?" Qiao Shi's uncle, Qiao Jin, softened his tone. Now that the Celestial Souls sect was developing, if they offended these 2 powerful sects, they would be dead meat. Taoist Feng and Qing Shun were puzzled when they saw Qiao Jin admit defeat. Not long ago, the 2 sects had been severely suppressed by Qiao Feng who seemed to be just an ordinary disciple of the Celestial Souls sect. They originally thought that the Celestial Souls sect was full of experts, and their disciples were all arrogant. Now that they were here, Qing Chun and Daoist Feng realized that was not the case. What's so interesting about a pile of scrap metal from the outside world? Compared to martial arts, technological products are worthless. Qing Chun snorted coldly. Xiao Jin's heart tightened. They were not here to visit the exhibition? Then weren't they here to cause trouble? Seniors, the Science and Technology exhibition of the Celestial Souls sect is only open to visitors. Since the two of you are not here to visit, please leave. Xiao Jin suddenly became unyielding. He represented the face of the Celestial Souls sect. Qing Chun and Daoist Feng could not figure out the ins and outs of the Celestial Souls sect. The disciples here would admit defeat one moment and act tough the next. They had no idea what they were up to. However, the two of them were here to take down Xiao Feng. How could they leave so easily? How dare you? Do we need you to tell us whether Daoist Feng and I are staying or leaving? Hurry up and tell your sect's Xiao Feng to come out. Otherwise, we won't hold back. Knowing that the two of them were here for Xiao Feng, Xiao Jin's expression became solemn. Xiao Feng's whereabouts were unknown. However, even if Xiao Jin knew, he would not let them take him away so easily. My sect doesn't have a disciple called Xiao Feng. You should leave. Qing Chun's patience was about to run out. Vital energy surged from his body, pressuring Xiao Jin and the others to the point of suffocation. Stop pretending. That brat is a disciple of your Celestial Souls sect. A few days ago, he dared to attack my Thousand Shadows sect and the Wind Sun Palace alone. Why is he a coward today? He doesn't even dare to show his face. At this point, everyone in the room understood what was going on. Xiao Feng of the Celestial Souls sect had offended the sect leaders of the Thousand Shadows sect and the Wind Sun Palace at the same time. Was this brat tired of living? Everyone discussed endlessly. However, the voices did not seem to be optimistic about Xiao Feng and the Celestial Souls sect. Although the Celestial Souls sect's reputation had risen in the Divine Continent recently, it was still a new sect. How could it compare to the joint attack of two sects that had dominated the Divine Continent for a long time? What's going on here? Who dares to cause trouble in my Celestial Souls sect? At this moment, Master Qiao rushed over with a group of people after hearing the news. We found out the other party's identity from Xiao Jin. He also felt anxious. Who are you? Qing Chun glared at Master Qiao coldly. I'm the sect leader of the Celestial Souls sect, Master Qiao. The person you're looking for isn't here. It's best if you leave quickly. Master Qiao pretended to be calm. The other party was the sect leader of two sects in the Divine Continent. A strange look flashed in Qing Chun's cold eyes. She sized up Master Qiao and realized that his aura was only at the 5th stage of vital energy. How could someone like him become the sect leader of the Celestial Souls sect? What was going on with this sect? Sect leader Xiao, sect leader Daoist Feng, and I only want Xiao Feng. As long as your Celestial Souls sect is willing to hand him over, we'll leave immediately. Qing Chun was still uncertain and did not dare to act rashly. Chapter 1478. Master Qiao sensed that danger was about to strike, but he still said firmly, I've already said that the spiritual sect doesn't have the person you're looking for. Just as he finished speaking, Qing Chun released a cold aura and suddenly slapped towards him. Oof. I like to see just how powerful the immortal spiritual sect is. Rumble. As a stage 9 vital energy cultivator, Qing Chun's slap sent the row of people guarding the Science and Technology Museum flying. The disciples in the museum screamed, and the scene became chaotic. Many people covered their heads and ran away. Some people stole some of the exhibits in the museum. The 9 women were furious and flew to the door. Zhao Lingxian looked at Qing Chun coldly and said, If you're unhappy, come at me. Don't attack anyone else. Seeing Zhao Lingxian, Qing Chun was sure that Xiao Feng was a disciple of the spiritual sect. She guessed that Xiao Feng already knew that they were here and was too scared to come out. Sect leader Feng, this is our sect's genius female disciple, Qing Lingxian. She was forcefully abducted by Qiao Feng of Ling Xian's sect. Qing Chun immediately told Taoist Feng. She seemed to lower her head before Taoist Feng. A few days ago, Taoist Feng had sent people to the Thousand Shadows sect to fetch a bride. In the end, he heard that the female disciple had been taken away. In a fit of anger, he discussed with Qing Chun how to deal with Qiao Feng together. That was why they brought people to cause trouble at the spiritual sect today. Zhao Ling Xian angrily said, "Don't spout nonsense. I wasn't captured by Qiao Feng. He's my man, and I came back with him willingly, but you, woman, forced me to marry into the Wind Sun Palace. Where's your conscience?" At this moment, there were many holy sect disciples watching. As the sect leader, Qing Chun was furious when she was publicly reprimanded by Zhao Ling Xian. She leapt lightly and grabbed Zhao Ling Xian. The expressions of the other 8 women changed drastically, and they all rushed forward to save her. "Sisters, leave quickly. You're not this woman's match. Get Xiao Feng to save me after this," Zhao Ling Xian shouted anxiously. The 8 women were impatient. Qing Chen laughed coldly. That brat Xiao Feng can't even protect himself today, and you still hope that he can save you?" As he said that, Qing Chen looked at Taoist Feng and asked in a questioning tone, "Sect leader Feng, the immortal spirit sect is just putting up a front. They're not even at the level of a first-rate sacred sect. Why don't we work together today and directly destroy the immortal spirit sect and take over Immortal Spirit City?" Before the two of them came, they only wanted to take Qiao Feng away. They were even a little worried. After all, the spiritual immortal sect had recently become very famous, and the sect was very mysterious. But now that he had seen the situation of the immortal spirits sect clearly, Qing Chun had long changed his mind. Taoist Feng's old eyes also shone brightly. The immortal spirit city was a big fat piece of meat formed from the merger of 2 cities. Disciples of the various sacred sects, listen up. Today, sect leader Qing Chun and I have come to annihilate the spiritual immortal sect. If the disciples of the spiritual immortal sect do not leave quickly, don't blame me for being rude. Taoist Feng quickly made his decision under the temptation of the huge piece of land that was Immortal Spirit City. The group of Holy Gate disciples fled in fright. They knew very well how powerful the Thousand Shadow sect and the Wind Sun Palace were, especially that sect leader Taoist Feng. It was rumored that he had already stepped into the pinnacle of True Qi Stage 9. That was half a step into the realm of immortals. In just a short while, the originally crowded and noisy Science and Technology Museum was now completely deserted. Only Su Ruoro, the 8 girls, and the few people from the Qiao clan were left. Taoist Feng's gaze swept across the 8 girls. An evil glint flashed across his old eyes. These 8 girls were all outstanding beauties. It would be good to take them as servants. You dare to cause trouble in the spiritual immortal sect? If you don't leave now, don't blame my sect for being rude. Qiao Master forced himself to stand up. Qing Chun's casual palm strike had seriously injured him. Qing Chun did not take Qiao Master seriously at all. She had finally figured out the ins and outs of the spiritual immortal sect. This sect was just a mid-tier sect. She did not know how they had taken over Distant Eye City and Meteor City. A mere spiritual immortal sect dares to be so impudent? I'm giving you a chance to surrender now. If you don't cherish it, my Thousand Shadows sect and the Wind Sun Palace will start a massacre here. Qing Chun's voice was cold. Everyone became nervous. Now that Qin Fen was not here, the girls in the Qiao clan had lost their backbone. They realized how powerful Qing Chun and Taoist Feng were. If they really fought with the current strength of the spiritual immortal sect, it would be like throwing an egg against a rock. For a moment, everyone was silent. However, they stood where they were and refused to give way. Qing Chun waited impatiently. Just as she was about to attack, a white figure landed on the ground, giving everyone a fright. "Qiao Feng, hurry up and leave. They're here to capture you. Young hero Qiao will hold the fort here. You should leave this place first." The person who came was Qin Fen. He seemed to have descended from the sky. At this moment, he stood in front of the girls. His white robe fluttered even though there was no wind. Seeing that he had arrived, the girls were only pleasantly surprised for a moment. Then they were immediately filled with worry. Everyone knew that Qin Chun and Daoist Feng had specially come to capture Qin Fun. However, they did not think that Qin Fun could defeat the two sect leaders. Everyone was only concerned about Qin Fun. They did not notice the change in his aura. Qin Fun's expression was indifferent. He stood with his hands behind his back. His aura was as majestic as the sea. However, it was calm. Even Qin Chun did not notice these changes. When she saw Qin Fun appear, she smiled coldly and said, "Humph, why don't you be a coward for the rest of your life? You actually dared to come out and send yourself to death?" Daoist Feng had heard of Qiao Feng long ago. This person had wiped out the 8 elders of the Winston Palace and even killed 2 of his illegitimate children. However, this was the first time Daoist Feng had seen Qin Fun. His eyes immediately blazed with rage. Facing the 2 sect leaders, Qin Fun had a relaxed and indifferent expression. He looked at Qin Chun and said, "You old woman, you really don't know what's good for you. I spared your life the last time. Yet, you still insist on coming to send yourself to death?" Qin Chun was stunned. She finally noticed a change in Qin Fun's aura. Even she could not see through it. However, she quickly calmed down. If she had come alone today, she would have had some misgivings. However, Daoist Feng was standing beside her to support her. Why would she be afraid of Qin Fun? You're still so stubborn even at death's door. Today I'll show you my prowess. Qin Chun hated Qin Fun to death. She clenched her teeth and sent a palm strike over. Suddenly, a strong wind blew, and a vast, surging quintessential energy surged over. It was as if it wanted to raise the Science and Technology Museum to the ground. Su Ruoro, the other women, Xiao Shi, and the others were already out of breath. They were forced to retreat to an empty space dozens of meters away. However, they discovered that Qin Fun was still standing in his original spot. The huge palm print was about to send him flying. Rumble. The sound seemed to have arrived a little too early. The commotion was even more intense than expected. Suddenly, a purple dragon roared in the sky. When everyone saw it clearly, they realized that it was 2 balls of fire exploding in midair. The palm print that Qin Chun sent out was like a piece of tofu, instantly dissipating in the purple cloud immortal fire. However, the flames instantly spread for hundreds of meters, frightening Qin Chun and Daoist Feng into retreating quickly. However, the many disciples they brought were not prepared. They were all drowned in the blazing flames. Rumble. Loud explosions rang out, and they did not stop for a while. Everyone was already stunned. Their eyes and jaws dropped to the ground. At this moment, there were still some bold Sacred Gate disciples who did not really leave. Instead, they stood in the distance and watched the show. They originally thought that Ling Xian's sect was going to be annihilated today. However, they realized that the situation had changed drastically. Who is that person? Why is he so powerful? You don't even know young hero Qiao? You really wasted your time in the Divine Land. That person is Ling Xian's sect's ordinary disciple, Qiao Feng. Why do I feel that he is even more powerful than Ling Xian's sect's sect leader Qiao Gong? He is more than powerful. He killed more than 40 venerables from Thousand Shadow Sect and Wind Sun Palace in one move. This is simply a miracle. Only an immortal venerable can do that. The crowd in the distance discussed. They were truly shocked by Qin Fun's strength. The purple flames that kept exploding in the sky finally dissipated. In front of them was a scene of destruction. The trees and buildings were all burned. The disciples of the 2 sects were turned into ashes. Only Qin Chun and Daoist Feng were left standing in the distance with fear in their eyes. I say, old woman, do you like to run around naked so much? Don't you have any shame? Qin Chun's clothes were burned, and half of her hair was burned. Her originally snow-white skin was char-black. At first glance, no one would believe that she was the sect leader of the Thousand Shadow Sect, one of the 5 venerables of the Divine Land. There were many men around, which made Qin Chun feel a little embarrassed. She glared at Qin Fun coldly. She wanted to cut him into 1,000 pieces. However, After a long time, Qing Shan did not make a move. She was already afraid. Qiao, were you the one who went to my Wind Sun Palace and started a massacre a few days ago? Daoist Feng, who had been silent all this while, suddenly spoke. His hatred for Qin Fen was no less than Qingqian's. Everyone tensed up. At the end of the day, Daoist Feng was the person who everyone feared the most. Rumor had it that this old man was a venerable who had reached the peak of stage 9 vital energy. He was half a step into the ranks of immortals. Qin Fen sized up Daoist Feng. Not long ago, he had broken through 2 levels in a row on Immortal Island. Now, he had reached the advanced stage of stage 9 vital energy. Even if Daoist Feng did not come to find him today, Qin Fen planned to take the time to completely eradicate the existence of Wind Sun Palace. That's right. That day, I stepped into Wind Sun Palace and started a massacre. What are you unhappy about? Qin Fen stood with his hands clasped behind his back. His words were domineering. Su Ruoro and the other women screamed in fear. The disciples who were watching from afar almost knelt down. Daoist Feng was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Without another word, his figure suddenly disappeared. Rumble. A loud sound that sounded like muffled thunder landed on the ground. The ground where Qin Fen had been standing previously sank into a huge crater. However, another muffled sound came from the plains hundreds of meters away. Everyone looked over and was dumbfounded. In the blink of an eye, Qin Fen and Daoist Feng had both fought hundreds of meters away. Many Sacred Gate disciples were hiding there. For a moment, they were so scared that they covered their heads and scurried away. The battle between the two was extremely intense. Just the vital energy ripples from the explosions killed a few innocent disciples with lower cultivation levels. Stinking brat, you dare to be so impudent when you're only at the advanced stage of stage 9 vital energy? Today will be the anniversary of your death. After exchanging blows, Daoist Feng had a good grasp of Qin Fen's strength. His worried heart immediately calmed down. Chapter 1479. Qin Feng's expression was grave. He had also seen through Taoist Feng's realm. Just as the rumors said, he was at the peak of stage 9. This was Qin Feng's first time encountering such a powerful cultivator. Of course, the youth with stage 1 immortal qi on Immortal Island didn't count. That youth didn't even dare to attack him. Rumble. Just as Qin Feng was in a daze, a huge fist descended from the sky and sent him flying. As expected, Taoist Feng is more powerful. He's a powerful cultivator at the peak of stage 9. Sigh. Young hero Qiao has such a realm at such a young age. He was originally a cultivation genius, but unfortunately, he's going to fall today. Seeing Qin Feng fall, the crowd started discussing again. Su Ruoro and the other girls were so anxious they were about to cry. Teacher Qiao and the others wanted to rush up and help. However, everyone calmed down in the end. This battle had long surpassed their realm. Rushing forward would only drag Qin Feng down. Taoist Feng's expression became more and more pleased. After his fist landed, he wasn't in a hurry to kill Qin Feng. He stood with his hands behind his back and yelled, "Kid with the surname Qiao, I'll give you a chance to live. As long as you lead the people of Celestial Souls sect to surrender and submit to my Fengyang Palace, I can stop here." He seemed to be kind enough to spare everyone's lives, but everyone knew that if Qin Feng submitted now, everyone would live a life worse than death in the future. However, Qin Feng had already jumped out of the huge pit. His white robe was stained with some mud, and his hair was loose. He looked a little pathetic. "Then I'll also give you a chance. Kneel and kowtow to the disciples of Celestial Souls sect to admit your mistakes, and I'll leave your corpse intact." Rumble. Just as Qin Feng finished speaking, Taoist Feng swung his fists like a mad beast. He roared furiously, and his fists moved so fast that they created wind. Instantly, a wave of fist prints fell like rain, carrying with them the power to destroy everything. Swoosh! Qin Feng had just risen into the air on his golden wheel when the ground he was standing on exploded and collapsed. In midair, Qin Feng held a purple battle bow and yelled, "Arrow, come!" Everyone looked up dumbfoundedly. not knowing what he was doing. However, they heard a loud sound in the air, as if a ray of light shot over from afar. In the span of a few breaths, a thin and long arrow appeared in Qin Feng's hand. The body of the arrow exuded a holy white light, and the arrowhead flickered with purple flames. The arrowhead also had a pair of pure white wings attached to it, making it look like a divine arrow. When Daoist Feng saw the cloud-piercing arrow, he was stunned. Before he could recover, a stream of light shot towards him. Rumble. At the same time Qin Feng released the arrow, the ground rumbled. Dust flew up from where Daoist Feng stood, and a huge crater was blasted open. However, Qin Feng's voice rang out again. Arrows come. With a whooshing sound, the cloud-piercing arrow returned to Qin Feng's hand. It turned out that the arrow didn't hit Daoist wind. Qin Feng was astonished by Taoist Feng's strength. At the same time, he released a second arrow. There was another loud noise, but it still didn't hit the target. Back then, when Qin Feng stepped into the Wind Sun Palace alone, he shot an arrow and instantly blew up the head of Stage 9 True Qi stage elders who were hundreds of meters away. It was obviously not that easy to kill Taoist Feng with a cloud-piercing arrow. Sharp arrows flew continuously. Qin Feng was like Ho-E descending to the mortal world. One arrow after another landed on the ground. The plains outside the Immortal Spirit Gate were full of holes from the explosions. Everyone had already retreated a kilometer away. They looked around quickly. They kept feeling that there was a black shadow leaping around, but no one could accurately pinpoint the person's location. The black shadow that flashed like a ghost was Taoist Feng, who was running. His speed was so fast that Qin Feng was amazed. After an unknown number of arrows were shot, a gust of wind suddenly rose behind Qin Feng and instantly sent him flying from the sky. Rumble. He landed with a loud noise like a meteor crashing to the ground. Taoist Feng's figure finally reappeared. He was standing at the edge of the huge crater. The instant his palms fell, hundreds of fist marks flew down. He didn't give Qin Feng any chance to catch his breath. The sound of the fists was earth-shattering. However, a snowstorm appeared out of nowhere and actually enveloped his body, causing the air to instantly freeze. Bang, 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 bang. The fist marks landed on the snowstorm, and there was a muffled sound like a car crash. Taoist Feng was shocked. He didn't understand why the weather suddenly changed. He suspected that it was Qin Feng's doing, but he quickly shook his head to deny it. Only those who had stepped into the immortal Qi realm could use immortal skills that could change the weather. How could Qin Feng, who was merely at the late stage of true Qi realm, do it? However, in the next moment, Taoist Feng was stunned. He saw Qin Feng standing in the huge crater, waving his palms and shooting out waves of cold air. Moreover, as his palms changed, the surrounding snowstorm also changed. This sudden change in weather was really caused by him. Xiao, how did you do it? For a moment, Taoist Feng forgot that he was still fighting. Qin Feng's expression was colder than the snowstorm. The instant he opened his eyes, two beams of purple light soared into the sky like dragons. The snowstorm was pierced through into two empty areas. Only the purple flames whistled, and the snowstorm avoided them by 3 feet. The purple dusk, immortal fire flew towards Taoist Feng. He was in the snowstorm, and his vision was already blocked. Now that the extraordinary fire suddenly appeared, he was caught unprepared. The sound of the explosion came through the snowstorm. The earth shook, and everyone was so scared that they couldn't help but tremble. The snowstorm gradually dissipated, and the surrounding scenery returned to clear skies. When everyone's vision was restored, the crowd suddenly exploded. That person lying on the ground is Sect Leader Feng. It really is Sect Leader Feng. He was defeated by young hero Qiao. What's with the snowstorm just now? This young hero Qiao is too powerful. Taoist Feng was hit by the purple dusk, immortal fire, and fell to the ground 100 meters away. But he didn't burn to death. Aside from his skin being scorched, everything else was normal. Taoist Feng gnashed his teeth in anger as he listened to the discussions around him. He was the dignified sect leader of the Wind Sun Palace, one of the strongest experts in the whole of China, and he had stepped into the peak of True Chi Stage 9. How could he be injured by the young Qiao Feng in front of everyone? This wasn't just a matter of life and death. It was a matter of dignity. Qiao, I want you to die a horrible death. Taoist Feng's angry roar rose from the ground, and it was even more oppressive than thunder. A wave of true qi surged in the surroundings, forcing the crowd to retreat dozens of meters. Qin Fen hurriedly rushed towards Taoist Feng, trying to kill him in one go. However, Taoist Feng leaped into the sky and punched the air above his head. Rumble! Instantly, a huge fist mark rose into the sky. The weather changed, and the fist mark turned into dark clouds that shrouded the top of Taoist Feng's head. Qin Fen had already sensed the danger. Just as he was about to escape, Taoist Feng punched him. The dark clouds above Taoist Feng's head exploded and turned into countless small fist marks that fell to the ground. The fist marks flickered with electricity. This was the Wind Sun Palace's ultimate skill, Thunder Fist. The Thunder Fist fell like rain and concentrated in the area where Qin Fen was. Even though Qin Fen tried his best to escape, he was still hit by dozens of Thunder Fists. The thunder and lightning were incomparably fierce. When they fell, Qin Fen's body trembled violently. Even the golden rock celestial armor he wore had several cracks on it. Master, the golden rock celestial armor is about to break. I suggest that you take it back to the Million Treasure Pavilion to repair it. Little Pig's anxious voice sounded. It knew that after taking back the celestial armor, its master's body wouldn't be able to resist the Thunder Fists. However, if it wasn't taken back, it wouldn't be long before it was completely destroyed. Qin Fen was even more anxious than Little Pig. With a slight thought, a pair of azure ice wings suddenly appeared on his back. This pair of ice wings was a reward from the system when he subdued the two-headed werewolf queen in Extreme Ice City. The instant the ice wings flapped, a snowstorm enveloped Qin Fen's body and blocked most of the power of the Thunder Fists. Whoosh! Qin Fen flew into the air. Every time the ice wings on his back flapped, the surrounding snowstorm would surge violently. The crowd cried out in surprise and looked at Qin Fen in the sky in disbelief. They were shocked again and again by the godly weapon he displayed. Taoist Feng's old eyes sparkled as he stared fixedly at the ice wings on Qin Fen's back. He couldn't take his eyes off them. This was an incredible treasure. Damn, after I destroy you, brat, I want this pair of ice wings. Rumble. As soon as Taoist Feng roared, he swung his fist above his head and condensed another Thunder Fist mist that carried electricity. In an instant, the concentrated Thunder Fists fell like rain again. Even with the protection of a snowstorm created when the ice wings flapped, Qin Fen couldn't take it anymore. Master, that guy's too strong, Little Pig yelled. Does the system have any equipment that can destroy him? Qin Fen furrowed his brows. There are many, but Master can't afford them with his current hedonist points. Little Pig's voice was filled with helplessness. Qin Fen only had 100,000 hedonist points left. It was clearly unrealistic for him to buy a godly weapon that could kill a Stage 9 True Chi expert. Moreover, in front of Taoist Feng, the Black Dragon series of products, he had lost their effectiveness. Back then, Qin Fen had used the Black Dragon tank to bomb Qin Chun, who was at the middle stage of Stage 9 True Chi. Qin Chun had blocked the homing missile, so how could Taoist Feng? For a moment, Qin Fen didn't have a plan. He realized that he had underestimated the power of a Stage 9 True Chi expert. He originally thought that he would be able to put up a fight after stepping into the late stage of Stage 9 True Chi. Now, it seemed that he would at most be able to fight to a draw. Killing Taoist Feng was easier said than done. Master, you can try using the Lightning Soul Sword, Little Pig suddenly said. Qin Fen thought of the Lightning Soul Sword. This was a godly weapon that he had obtained a long time ago by fusing the Pink Soul Severing Sword and the Gold Thunder Divine Sword. This fused Lightning Soul Sword was a holy sword that could slay demons and destroy souls. It was incredibly powerful when used against the evil cultivators of China's verdant sect. But Little Pig wanted him to use it against Taoist Feng. This made Qin Fen a bit puzzled. Little Pig could read Qin Fen's thoughts and continued to say, Master, apart from slaying demons, The lightning soul sword is also surrounded by the power of heavenly lightning. It can trigger heavenly lightning attacks, which happens to counter the power of Taoist Feng's lightning fists. Qin Fen understood after hearing this. However, Taoist Feng's lightning fists were as dense as rain and incomparably ferocious. Qin Fen didn't even have time to escape, so he couldn't attack Taoist Feng in close combat. Even with the lightning soul sword, he couldn't unleash its power. Chapter 1480. Little Pig continued, Master, you can use the heavenly eagle bow to shoot the lightning soul sword. That way, you can attack from a distance. Qin Fen's eyes lit up. This was a good idea. He also realized that the lightning soul sword was too slow and definitely couldn't hit Taoist Feng. Qin Fen thought of combining the lightning soul sword with the cloud-piercing arrow. By combining the speed of the cloud-piercing arrow with the power of the lightning soul sword, he could achieve an unexpected result. Thunder roared in his ears, and Qin Fen was hit by a few lightning punches from time to time. The blood in his body surged, and the golden rock sovereign armor on his body was severely damaged and had been put away. Qin Fen, who had been flying all this time, suddenly stopped. The ice wings on his back flapped wantonly and brought about a violent snowstorm. The weather changed, and Qin Fen was in the snowstorm, making it hard to pinpoint his location. The lightning punches rained down on the snowstorm and created earth-shattering noises. Qin Fen stood in the snowstorm with a purple battle bow in one hand and the cloud-piercing arrow and lightning soul sword tied together by an iron chain in the other. The battle bow had no string, but Qin Fen pulled it. The cloud-piercing arrow shone with a holy white light, while the lightning soul sword shone with a golden light and purple lightning coiled around the sword. The moment Qin Fen let go, the golden purple light flashed and shot towards the lightning fist clouds in the sky like a meteor. Rumble! Before everyone could react, thunder roared in the sky. The cloud-piercing arrow pierced through the lightning fist clouds above Taoist Feng's head in a breath's time. The lightning soul sword immediately showed its power, and purple light shot out in all directions, triggering the heavenly lightning. Thunder roared everywhere. It was several times stronger than the weather change caused by Taoist Feng's lightning fist. The purple lightning struck the ground, and Taoist Feng didn't even have a chance to react before falling to the ground. Arrow. After breaking Taoist Feng's lightning fist with one arrow, Qin Fen immediately shot another arrow. This time, everyone finally saw something fishy. A golden purple flowing light flashed across the sky, as if after a breath, there was an explosion of lightning in the area where Taoist Feng landed. It was a spectacular scene that seemed like it was going to destroy the world. Rumble. The explosions didn't stop. Qin Fen didn't dare to be negligent and shot several arrows at the empty ground. For a moment, the plains outside the spiritual immortal gate were blown into a mess, and its original appearance was no longer recognizable. The disciples of the immortal soul's sect and the people from the other sects were shocked. This ending was unexpected. The battle is over? Young hero Qiao won. Under such an intense bombardment of thunder and lightning, Sect Master Feng will definitely die. This young hero Qiao is too powerful. To be able to kill an expert at the pinnacle of true Qi Stage 9, he must be half a step into the immortal Qi stage. From this moment onwards, the name of the immortal spiritual sect will resound throughout the entire divine continent. They might even step into the ranks of the new 5 supremes of the divine continent. The loud noises did not stop, and the screams of the crowd did not stop either. The ground was surrounded by purple lightning. Not to mention humans, even a mountain could be blasted into pieces. Taoist Feng was in the sea of lightning and had long been blasted into pieces. Qin Feng landed on the ground and sat on his butt. This battle had exhausted all the true qi in his body. At this moment, he was as weak as a child. Su Ruo, Ro, and the other women had already rushed over, and they surrounded him and chattered with concern. Seeing this scene, Qing Chun was already stunned. She had even forgotten that she was still naked. She still remembered the first time Qin Feng stepped into the Thousand Shadows sect to look for Zhao Lingxian. At that time, Qin Feng was only at True Qi Stage 7, and he could not even withstand the power of one of her palms. How long had it been? Looking at Qin Feng now, he was so young, but he had single-handedly killed the sect master of the Wind Sun Palace. He had already stepped into the ranks of the top supremes of the Divine Continent. The violent thunder finally subsided, and the disciples of the various sects gradually recovered from their shock. When everyone looked at Qin Feng and the disciples of the immortal spiritual sect again, their eyes were filled with reverence. Even though the immortal spiritual sect had not officially been named one of the 5 supremes of the Divine Continent, everyone knew that it was only a matter of time. At first, they thought that the huge battle had finally ended, and the women's tense hearts also relaxed. However, at this moment, Qin Feng frowned and looked into the sky in the distance. 2 black dots were rapidly approaching, accompanied by a whistling sound. There are more enemies attacking. All of you, quickly hide. Qin Feng's expression turned cold, and he forced himself to stand up. The women still did not understand the situation. When they followed Qin Feng's gaze, their expressions all became nervous. The roar of the engines quickly approached, and the black dots in the sky gradually became clearer. Su Ruoro and the other women all came from the outside world, so they were no strangers to things that flew in the sky. They were actually 2 fighter jets speeding over. Why are there fighter jets? Could it be that there are other invaders from the outside world in the Divine Continent? The women were confused. They thought that only Qin Feng could get his hands on high-tech products from the outside world. However, at this moment, Qin Feng's solemn voice sounded in their ears. It's not high-tech from the outside world. It's people from Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum. The women were still in a daze, unable to come to their senses. Qin Feng had already turned into a black shadow and disappeared into the distance. The 2 fighter jets arrived in the sky above the immortal spiritual sect. Suddenly, there was a loud explosion. Countless missiles and cannonballs fell as if they were going to raze the entire immortal spiritual sect to the ground. The disciples of the various sects were all startled, and they covered their heads and scurried away in fear. They muttered in their hearts, "Who did the immortal spiritual sect offend?" They actually came to annihilate the sect. 2 balls of golden light flickered. Qin Feng forced his body into the sky. He opened his eyes and shot out 2 balls of purple fire. However, his true qi and telekinesis were extremely lacking, so the power of the purple cloud immortal fire was greatly reduced. Rumble. The fireball flew quickly and hit one of the fighter jets. It was unknown what the fighter jet was made of. After swaying a few times in the air, it actually continued flying and headed towards Qin Feng. Lei Shan, who was sitting in the fighter jet, was so angry that he screamed. When he caught up to Qin Feng, he slapped the launch button randomly. Immediately, 2 tracking cannonballs turned into white mist and shot over. There were also countless laser bullets raining down. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The wind blew through the air. Qin Feng used all his true qi to escape on the golden wheel. However, the tracking cannonball was extremely fast. Just as it was about to hit him, Qin Feng activated his telekinesis. Immediately, the weather changed drastically, and a violent snowstorm surged around him. Rumble. The 2 tracking cannonballs hit at the same time, exploding into a rolling cloud in the sky. The violent snowstorm instantly dissipated in the explosion and blocked most of the cannonball's power. However, there was still a violent shockwave that hit Qin Feng and sent him flying to the ground. A huge crater appeared on the ground. This attack almost took Qin Feng's old life. He lay motionless in the crater. His white robe was torn, and his eyelids were drooping. He looked like he was on the verge of death. Everyone was stunned. Su Ruoro and the other girls forgot to rush over. Little Pig was anxiously shouting at Qin Feng. The heroes in the system and the beasts of the immortal island were jumping up and down anxiously. However, Qin Feng was too heavily injured. At this moment, he didn't even have the strength to use his telekinesis to release them. Boom, boom, boom. The rumbling of the fighter jet surged over. Lei Shan shouted excitedly when he saw Qin Feng being blasted to the ground. He immediately dove down in the fighter jet and tried to use 2 more cannonballs to completely take Qin Feng's life. Rumble. A loud explosion sounded on the ground. The tracking cannonball was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, the crater became even wider. However, Lei Shan's face was filled with anger. He suddenly turned the jet around and rushed towards the sky in the distance. Stinking brat. Even if you run to the ends of the earth, I will blow you into pieces. Lei Shan had long held a grudge against Qin Feng. He gritted his teeth and shouted. In the distance, another fighter jet appeared in the sky. It was Qin Feng's Black Dragon fighter jet. Previously, the Black Dragon fighter jet and the Black Dragon battle car were almost destroyed by the giant winged fire demon. After being repaired by the Thousand Treasure Pavilion for a period of time, they had recovered their battle capabilities. Qin Feng lay in the fighter jet powerlessly. He threw a large handful of pills into his mouth. The fighter jet turned on pilotless mode and automatically evaded the Lei Shan father and son's pursuit. Very quickly, Qin Feng realized something was wrong. The Black Dragon fighter jet was hit consecutively. It swayed and looked like it was going to crash. Little pig, what fighter jet are those 2 flying? Isn't it the Flying Tiger fighter jet from before? Qin Feng still remembered how Lei Wanzhong and a group of Holy Gate's disciples had raided the tavern he was staying at not too long ago. Qin Feng even fought with Lei Wanzhong and destroyed Lei Wanzhong's Flying Tiger fighter. Little Pig said anxiously, Master, the opponent is flying the upgraded version of the Flying Tiger fighter jet, the White Eagle fighter jet. Is the White Eagle fighter jet very powerful? Even my Black Dragon can't beat it? Qin Feng sensed the danger. Little Pig said helplessly, Master, according to the evolution of the Star Technologies fighter jets, the first product was the Flying Tiger, then the Black Dragon, then the White Eagle, and then the White Phoenix. Qin Feng was very clear that the Black Dragon series of Star Technologies mecha was 1 level lower than the opponent's mecha. However, Qin Feng confirmed one fact. Lei Wanzhong was indeed a system user, and his character level was the same as his in the system. Behind him, the sky was filled with artillery fire. Qin Feng didn't even have the ability to escape. Seeing that the Black Dragon fighter jet was about to be destroyed, he immediately switched to the Hummingbird fighter jet. This fighter jet focused on speed, but still couldn't shake off the Lei father and son's pursuit. The scene changed. The original martial arts battle turned into an aerial battle. The crowd on the ground was dumbfounded. Qin Feng felt that the Hummingbird fighter jet couldn't hold on any longer. His only option now was to hide in Immortal Spirit City. If he did that, he would be safe, but what about the girls and the Immortal Spirit sect disciples? Also, Immortal Spirit City would be taken over by the Lei father and son. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for completing the mission of building a technology city in China. The system rewards host Qin Feng 1 million Hedonist points and a lava flying armor. The host Qin Feng has a total of 1,100,000 Hedonist points. At this critical moment, the system notification sounded, and light suddenly appeared in the darkness in front of Qin Feng. He didn't have time to think, and immediately looked at the interface of Star Technology. He wanted to buy a White Phoenix fighter jet. That was the evolved version of the White Eagle fighter jet. Chapter 1481. Qin Feng opened Star Tech's interface and quickly found the White Phoenix. White Phoenix Star Tech's S-Ring battle equipment was very powerful. Compared to the White Eagle, it had the addition of precise positioning cannons and other super powerful functions. System price: 1 million Hedonist points. After reading the introduction of the White Phoenix, Qin Feng only had one thought. This battle equipment is so fucking expensive. Master Star Tech's S-Rank battle equipment is a bit more expensive, but it's worth it. Little Pig said. Qin Feng thought of the Black Dragon series. What's the grade of the Black Dragon series? It's also S-Rank battle equipment. However, the Black Dragon series is the weakest among S-Rank battle equipment. The White Phoenix series is the strongest S-Rank battle equipment, Little Pig said. Qin Feng curled his lips. In the end, They were all S-rank battle equipment. However, he looked at the Black Dragon series and found that it was half the price of the White Phoenix series. Even though his heart ached, Qin Feng quickly bought a White Phoenix. He hadn't even warmed up the 1 million Hedonist points he had just earned, and it was gone in the blink of an eye. At this moment, the Hummingbird battle aircraft's appearance changed. The originally slender aircraft became wide. The wings on both sides were snow white, and there were 8 tracking cannons under the wings. There were also 2 laser cannons on both sides of the front of the aircraft. The most unique thing was that the White Phoenix had a notch on the top, which hid this type of aircraft's unique precision positioning cannons. In the blink of an eye, the Hummingbird became the White Phoenix. Lei Shan was so focused on destroying Qin Feng that he didn't notice these changes. Seeing that Qin Feng was getting closer and closer, a playful smile appeared on his face. Lei Shan, maintain a certain distance from that brat's battle aircraft. Lei Wanzhong's serious voice suddenly came from the cockpit. Lei Shan said disapprovingly, "Dad, I'm about to destroy that guy, and you're telling me to retreat now?" Lei Wanzhong said anxiously, "Didn't you notice that guy's battle aircraft changed? I feel like something's wrong." As Lei Wanzhong spoke, the White Eagle battle aircraft he was piloting slowed down. Lei Shan did not mind. He said confidently, "Dad, don't be so suspicious. That guy's mech hasn't changed. Besides, so what if that Xiao guy changes mech? Can it compare to the White Eagle mech that Dad gave me?" Lei Wanzhong was speechless. He was still very confident in the White Eagle mech. However, he was still a little worried. Seeing that his son was chasing after Qin Feng, Lei Wanzhong knew it was too late to say anything now. "Huh, son of a bitch with the surname Xiao. Weren't you very arrogant a few days ago? You become a coward today. Do you think you can escape? Watch me blow up your lousy plane." Lei Shan looked at the notification on the mech that they had entered the attack range and cursed in agitation. He pressed the launch button without hesitation, and the 2 shells immediately turned into smoke and shot out. However, there was no sound of the fighter jet exploding. When Lei Shan looked over, he discovered that Qin Feng's fighter jet had disappeared. "Lei Shan, watch your back." Lei Wanzhong's anxious roar came from the driver's seat. Lei Shan switched to rear-view mode and broke out in a cold sweat. 100 meters behind him, Qin Feng's white fighter jet was hot on his tail. If the opponent fired 2 artillery shells, Lei Shan would definitely be killed. "Dad, quick, fire the cannons." Lei Shan didn't have time to turn around and yelled. Lei Wanzhong snapped out of his shock and immediately fired 2 artillery shells. Immediately, 2 trails of white smoke appeared in the sky. The artillery shells were as fast as lightning, and the moment they were fired, there was a loud bang in the sky. Rumble. The sky was filled with flames and smoke, making it difficult to see what was happening. Lei Wanzhong heaved a long sigh of relief and shouted into the microphone excitedly, "Son, are you all right? That brat is already dead. Let's turn around and bombard the spiritual immortal sect. Once we destroy them, the spiritual immortal city will be ours." Lei Wanzhong's voice trembled with excitement when he thought about taking over the huge spiritual immortal city. However, a moment later, the smile on his face froze. He looked at the white fighter jet flying in the sky and felt that something was wrong. "Son, Lei Shan, say something. Are you all right?" Lei Wanzhong yelled anxiously, but he didn't receive a reply. He hurriedly turned around and flew towards the ground. When he saw the remains of the fighter jet in the crater, Lei Wanzhong was so angry that he almost vomited blood. His 2 artillery shells had actually killed his son. "Xiao Feng, I want you to die a horrible death." Lei Wanzhong suddenly turned around and flew towards the sky as if he had gone mad. However, just as he turned around, he saw the white fighter jet flying towards him like a white stream of light. "Lei Wanzhong, I wanted to let you live for a few more days before destroying you. Who would have thought that you'd be tired of living? Then I'll fulfill your wish." Qin Feng's loud roar came from the sky. His voice was transmitted through the loudspeaker. It was like a muffled clap of thunder, causing everyone on the ground to tremble in fear. Lei Wanzhong didn't retreat. and flew over in his white eagle fighter jet. His angry voice reverberated in the sky. You want to destroy me with a mere piece of scrap metal? What a joke. Today, I'll show you the power of my white eagle fighter jet. Lei Wanzhong didn't care about Qin Feng's fighter jet at all. To him, Lei Shan had been destroyed because Qin Feng had fled too quickly, causing him to blow up his son's white eagle fighter jet by mistake. Otherwise, Qin Feng's fighter jet wouldn't have been able to destroy the white eagle fighter jet at all. Just as he finished his roar, both his hands slammed on the launch button. In an instant, almost all the missiles had been fired. A deafening sound. Numerous streams of white mist whizzed past like dragons, and tiny laser bullets filled the sky. But Qin Fen piloted the White Phoenix mech and did not retreat at all. The mech was like a nimble swallow, turning left and right in the air, adopting all sorts of strange flying postures, deftly dodging Lei Wanzhong's series of artillery attacks. In just a few breaths' time, Qin Feng was already not far from Lei Wanzhong. Lei Wanzhong's old eyes finally showed a trace of shock. He looked at the undamaged White Phoenix fighter jet in disbelief, feeling as if he was dreaming. Your attack is too weak. I'll let you have a taste of my attack. Just as Qin Feng finished speaking, the notch on the top of the White Phoenix fighter jet suddenly opened, and a strange-looking white turret extended out. This turret was the Precision Positioning Missile. When Qin Feng bought this brand new White Phoenix fighter jet, the Precision Positioning Missile came with a cannonball. Lei Wanzhong seemed to have sensed danger and hurriedly turned on the thrusters. The tail of the White Eagle fighter jet sprayed blue flames, and it instantly turned into a beam of light and shot out. The Precision Positioning Missile was ready. Looking at Lei Wanzhong, who had already escaped several kilometers away, Qin Feng's heart was a little uncertain. Could he still hit him from such a distance? Rumble. Just as he was guessing, the missile had already been fired. A stream of white mist cut through the sky like a bolt of lightning. Almost at the same time, a deafening explosion came from high up in the sky. Lei Wanzhong's White Eagle fighter jet had already been destroyed and fell to the ground. Rumble. The moment it landed, another deafening explosion was heard, causing the empty ground to be filled with dust. The commotion was like an earthquake. The crowd on the ground had long been dumbfounded. They were all people of China and had never seen such a spectacular and intense high-tech battle. It felt like a mythical world. White light flashed high up in the sky. In just a few breaths' time, Qin Feng's White Phoenix fighter jet had landed steadily. With a slight thought, the huge White Phoenix fighter jet suddenly disappeared, shocking the crowd once again. In a huge crater, there was the wreckage of the destroyed White Eagle fighter jet. White smoke rose from the crater, and there was still a trace of life hidden within. Qin Feng jumped down, and in a short while, he carried the half-dead Lei Wanzhong back to the ground. The shock in Lei Wanzhong's eyes had yet to fade. He couldn't understand how his White Eagle fighter jet had been defeated. You also have a system? Lei Wanzhong asked seriously. He realized that he was about to die, and he wanted to understand the situation before he died. Qin Feng didn't hide it. That's right, I have the Hedonist sovereign system. What's your system? Lei Wanzhong's expression kept changing. He had already suspected Qin Feng back in Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum, and now he had confirmed his guess. Don't kill me. I can give you many unexpected things. Lei Wanzhong suddenly lost his arrogance and directly knelt in front of Qin Feng to beg for mercy. Qin Feng's expression was indifferent. He and Lei Wanzhong had long since become mortal enemies. How could he let this person go? You should go in peace. After I devour your system, those things you mentioned will still be mine. Lei Wanzhong still wanted to beg for mercy, but he suddenly felt a powerful will enter his mind. He only struggled for a moment, and then he completely lost his consciousness. This wasn't the first time Qin Feng devoured a system, and the process was very smooth. He now understood Lei Wanzhong's situation. This guy had the sovereign modification system. This system could modify all kinds of items, mainly technological products. In an instant, Qin Feng figured out many things. No wonder the product displayed in Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum were all modified, especially the energy supply. All of them were powered by spirit stones. Ding! Host Qin Feng has successfully devoured the sovereign modification system. You are rewarded with 1 million hedonist points. The system's notifications sounded, and Qin Feng's hedonist points skyrocketed to 1 million. At this point, the technological battle had ended. However, the group of Sacred Gate disciples had yet to recover from their shock. Qin Feng leaped to the entrance of spiritual immortal gate. He stood ramrod straight, like a god of war that had descended to the world. The ground around him flowed with blood like a river. It was a scene of destruction after a great battle. Qing Chun, where do you think you're going? Qin Feng suddenly roared. Qing Chun, who was about to secretly escape, immediately stopped in her tracks. Before coming here, she swore that she would capture Qin Feng. However, this outcome was completely out of her expectations. Qiao Feng, as long as you spare me this time, I can guarantee that the Thousand Shadows sect will not cause trouble for your spiritual immortal gate. However, if you kill me today, the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect will definitely fight you to the death. Chapter 1482. Qin Chun had witnessed Qin Feng's strength. This person could even kill Taoist Feng, who was at the pinnacle of Qi Stage 9. What was a mere Thousand Shadows sect to him? However, Qin Chun had no other trump cards. She could only brace herself and bring up the Thousand Shadows sect. Qin Feng was amused. He said indifferently, I destroyed the Wind Sun Palace. What does the Thousand Shadows sect have to fear? Qing Chen's heart sank. She suddenly raised her exquisite face and shouted, Since I've fallen into your hands, you can do whatever you want to me. Whether I kill you or not will depend on your performance. Come with me. Qin Feng turned and walked into Spirit's sect, leaving everyone standing there in a daze and guessing. Now, Qing Chen was naked, and she was a pretty beauty. Qin Feng had called her into Celestial Spirit's sect alone. It was obvious what he wanted to do. Qin Chun could feel countless gazes staring at her in the dark. She felt humiliated. However, in the face of her life, she still followed him in. Why did you call me here? Qin Chun asked coldly as soon as she entered the room. Qin Feng sat on the sofa. The buildings and furniture in Spirit's sect were all in the style of the outside world. Qin Chun was shocked. Sit down first. Qin Feng's attitude was neither warm nor cold. Since Qin Chun had followed him in, she was prepared to be toyed with by Qin Feng. She had already thought it through. At most, she would be toyed with for a while. She would have a chance to take revenge in the future. If she was killed now, everything would really be over. Stop pretending. If you want to do it, then do it. Qin Chun puffed out her chest, looking like she was ready to risk everything. She was naked, but her figure was still very voluptuous. Qin Feng almost spat out his tea. Ahem, you've misunderstood. I'm not interested in your body. I called you here to ask you some questions. If you answer truthfully, I can spare your life. Qin Chen blushed and looked at Qin Feng suspiciously. Qin Feng's eyes were as clear as water. Even though she was naked, he did not react at all. Qin Chen realized that she was overthinking. Give me some clothes first. Qin Chun said, blushing. Qin Feng waved his hand. Go find them yourself. Qin Chun quickly found a dress that Zhao Lingxian had worn and put it on before returning to Qin Feng's side. She realized that Qin Feng did not have any killing intent towards her, so she felt more at ease. What do you want to ask? Qin Chen's expression became cold again. About Qin Ying, tell me everything you know. Qin Feng went straight to the point. Qin Chun was stunned. She did not know what relationship Qiao Feng had with Qin Ying. This was the second time this fellow had asked about Qin Ying. Qin Feng's expression turned cold. Qin Feng's expression turned cold. Answer whatever I ask. Otherwise, I can't guarantee your life. Qin Chun felt aggrieved. She was the sect leader of the Thousand Shadows sect, yet she was being threatened by a brat in his early 20s. Qin Chun could not do anything against Feng's threat. Qing Ying, Qingbi and I are very good sisters. Qin Chen's expression suddenly became deep, as if he was reminiscing. Qin Ying was born with a natural charm, and her aptitude was the best in the Thousand Shadows sect. She was our eldest senior sister, and Master Qing deeply doted on her. However, 20 years ago, eldest senior sister came out of seclusion and went to the outside world. She fell in love with a man and gave birth to a son. He stayed in the outside world and refused to come back. Master Qing Zun was furious and brought people out of the mountain to capture her, but it caused a great war between the outside world and China. Later on, Master Primogenitor returned on his own. Eldest senior sister seemed to have remained in the outside world. 2 years ago, eldest senior sister suddenly received news that she had returned to the Divine Prefecture. Master stubbornly went all over China to look for senior sister. Since then, there's been no news of her. Qin Chen spoke in great detail, telling him everything she knew. After Qin Fen made some deductions, he was certain that this woman was not lying. This was because Qin Fen had already obtained some information about his mother, which was similar to what Qin Chen was saying. For a moment, many questions surged in Qin Feng's mind. According to Qin Chen, his mother had stayed in the secular world of Huaxia for a total of 18 years. Where'd she been during these 18 years? Why did he return to the Divine Great Land 2 years ago? Furthermore, the formation in the Divine Great Land loosened once every 20 years or so. 2 years ago was clearly not the time for the formation to open. How did his mother return? Qin Fen racked his brains, but could not figure out the reason. He looked at Qin Chen and asked, "Back then, when my mother appeared in the Divine Great Land, where did she appear?" Qin Fen accidentally let the cat out of the bag. Qin Chen felt as if she had been struck by lightning. She pointed at him in a daze and said, What did you just say? Your eldest senior sister's child from the outside world?" Since things had come to this, Qin Fen could not be bothered to hide it anymore. "That's right. My name is Qin Fen. I came to the Divine Prefecture from the outside world to look for Ling Xian and my mother, Qing Ying." Qin Chen was shocked again. "Qin Fen? You are the Qin Fen who is wanted by all the sects in the Divine Prefecture?" This old woman's reaction displeased Qin Fen. He suppressed his voice and said, "Let's not talk about that. Answer my question first." The shock in Qin Chen's eyes had not disappeared. She took a while to calm down gradually. "I really did not expect eldest senior sister's child to have grown up so much. He is as powerful as eldest senior sister." 2 years ago, news of eldest senior sister returning to the Divine Great Land spread, but no one knows where she is. Qin Chen paused for a moment. Her expression suddenly became mysterious. Actually, the Divine Great Land is not big, but it is not small either. Master Qing Zun has been looking for her for 2 years without any news. This can only mean one thing. Eldest senior sister is no longer in the Divine Great Land. Qin Fen was stunned. No longer in the Divine Great Land? Where is she then? Qin Chen wanted to say something, but hesitated. Qin Fen was a little impatient. "Speak your mind. Young hero Qin, you must know the existence of the immortal Qi realm. However, there is not a single immortal venerated immortal Qi realm in the Divine Great Land. I suspect that they are in another plane. Eldest senior sister and Master Qing Zun might have gone there. Of course, Qin Fen knew that there was an even higher plane. The immortal island that he had opened was an immortal venerated plane. However, Qin Fen could not confirm whether the immortal island was the only immortal venerated plane. "What plane are you talking about?" Qin Fen hurriedly asked. Qin Chen smiled bitterly and shook her head. "I have only stepped into the middle stage of Stage 9. I am too far away from the immortal venerated plane. There is no way I can come into contact with that plane. I have only heard about it. However, Taoist Feng, whom you killed, definitely knows about it. Unfortunately, he is already dead." Qin Fen rolled his eyes. If he had known, he would have spared Taoist Feng's life. However, he quickly pulled himself together. "Then the other 3 sect leaders of the Divine Great Land's 5 Supremes should know about it too, right?" Qin Chen nodded and said, "Su Sun of the Empyrean Terminus sect, Hun Zhen of the Return Net realm, and Long Baifeng of the Azure Dragon sect. These 3 sect leaders are all at the peak of Stage 9. They are not weaker than Taoist Feng. They definitely know about the even more mysterious plane." Qinfen calmed down. As long as there were people who knew about it, it was fine. When the time came, he could capture the three of them and interrogate them. Qin Chen's expression was not as relaxed as Qinfen's. She frowned and said, "Young hero Qin, since you are eldest senior sister's child, we are on the same side. We had some conflicts in the past, but that was because I had no choice but to protect the Thousand Shadow Sect's position. Now, you have destroyed the Wind Sun Palace, defeated my Thousand Shadow Sect, and eliminated the Lei family of Fire Beacon City Science and Technology Museum. This news must have already started to spread throughout the Divine Great Land. If my guess is correct, the other three sects will soon surround and attack your spiritual immortal sect." Qinfen had already expected this. This was the Divine Great Land, the territory of the Divine Great Land's five supremes. If a new sect suddenly appeared and wreaked havoc in the Heavenly Court, it would be strange if the other three sects did not do anything. "Oh, what did you become so kind? Are you worried about my spiritual immortal sect?" Qinfen smiled at Qin Chen. From Qinfen's cold smile, Qin Chen knew that he had seen through her thoughts. She simply said, "Young hero Qin, the Thousand Shadow Sect has not been destroyed yet. However, it only exists in name. The other three sects did not attack your spiritual immortal sect first, but my Thousand Shadow Sect." Seeing that this old woman had taken the initiative to speak the truth and did not use him as a tool, Qinfen's opinion of this woman changed slightly. Moreover, the Thousand Shadow Sect was the sect that his mother was in. Qinfen would not watch as the Thousand Shadow Sect was destroyed. Since that's the case, then let the Thousand Shadow Sect's disciples come to spiritual immortal sect first. When the time comes, we can face the enemy together. Qinfen's tone was very casual, as if he did not care about the other three sections. If that's the case, then wouldn't it be equivalent to giving away the Thousand Shadow Sect's territory for nothing? Qin Chen's expression changed drastically. She clearly did not agree. Qinfen said indifferently, "What's there to be afraid of? As long as the Thousand Shadow Sect disciples are not destroyed, it's fine. Wait for me to enter seclusion for a few days. When I come out, I will help you take back your sect." Qinfen was full of confidence. He planned to go to Immortal Island again and strive to break through to the peak of True Ninth Stage. By then, who in the entire Divine Great Land would be his match? However, Qin Chun did not know this. She did not think that Qinfen would succeed. Although Qinfen had killed Taoist Feng with his own strength not long ago, Qinfen had barely won that battle. He was the one who had almost died. Moreover, Taoist Feng's strength was at the lowest level compared to the other three sect leaders. If the three sect leaders joined forces to attack, Qinfen would most likely be killed in less than 10 moves. What about the experts of your spiritual immortal sect? What about the experts at the peak of True Qi Stage 9th Stage? Qin Chen asked. Qinfen pursed his lips. He thought to himself, how could the spiritual immortal sect have experts at the peak of True Qi Stage 9th Stage? He was the only one at True Qi Stage 9th Stage. You have misunderstood. The spiritual immortal sect does not have experts at True Qi Stage 9th Stage. I am the only one holding down the fort, Qinfen said truthfully. Qin Chen rolled her eyes. She almost died of depression. She did not expect the spiritual immortal sect, which had recently become famous in the Divine Great Land, to be like this. It's over, it's over. It looks like our two sects will definitely be destroyed. Qin Chen's expression was dim. She had never thought that Qinfen alone would be able to break out of this predicament. Qinfen did not explain further. He knew that the three sects would soon make their move. What he needed to do now was to seize the time to break through to the next stage. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.